All right, I think we are going now. Mic check, mic check. Is everything working as it should? It would appear so. Waiting to get it to pop up on my phone to double check. All right, I hear it. So, today we are going to be going. Well, actually, first things first. Hello and welcome to the Guessmonger channel. My name is Steve, and today we are going to be working on a paint scheme for my 2020 NASCAR Cup Series skin pack for BeamNG Drive. It utilizes the Solar Camaro mod and Pause Gen 6 Mustang and Toyota Camry mods. But today I would like to make a skin for the Mustang, and we're going to be working on John Hunter Nemechek's CitGard scheme. We're going to go from start to finish, from making the file, making the scripts work, to plugging the car into the game. I'm going to close out BeamNG because I was just taking the thumbnail in there a couple minutes ago. But we're going to go ahead and close this out. Who do we got in chat so far? Hey, L-Dog. Hey, Ilis. Hey, you were in here earlier, Ilis. Thank you for helping me figure out if the audio and stuff was working. So, all right, let's get to it. Let's go ahead and go. We're going to go to mods. I have it set in my unpacked at the moment. We're going to go to the Mustang. And the way I've been naming everything for this pack has been 2020 and then driver name, Nemechek, and 1. So if I want to do more, I can, and I'll name it 2 or 3 or however many I wind up making for it. We're going to steal the scripts out of this James Davison skin that I made. We're going to copy them into the Nemechek folder. And we're going to go in. Actually, I'm going to show you a real quick shortcut on how to do this. We're just going to rename, copy. And now we're going to go back into here. We're going to select 2020 Davison 51 after the underscore. Search, replace, paste, replace all. You should see 2 occurrences in the JBeam file. The only thing we're going to have to manually change out is the name on the list, like when you go to select your scheme. So, John Hunter Nemechek. Oops, I should probably look at my keyboard while I'm typing. That helps. And we're working on his CitGard Mustang today. We're going to save this. We're going to go to skin.materials, and we're going to do the same thing we did to start with over there. Replace the Davison script with the Nemechek script. Since we already typed it in here once, it should already be there for you. There should be 5 occurrences in the skin materials JSON file. And I'm not going to change these factors yet. I usually wait till after I'm done with the scheme to do it, or at the very end of the entire process. Whenever I'm done with the mod, basically, I'll go through and do that. So I need to go find my templates. Where are my templates? Starter pack. And we're going to copy and paste this in. I'm going to double check. Okay, yeah, I do actually have. I did make a template. I thought I made a template for my 2020 pack, and I just couldn't find it, but it was right there in front of my face. So we're going to actually delete that old one. We're going to delete this other one. We're going to put in the one that I actually made for this mod. Sorry for the confusion here. It's already got the body underscore skin underscore dot color. So we're going to name this 2020 Nemechek 1 dot color. This script should match this script, which should match these in here. That is, objectively speaking, the goal. We're going to go ahead and open the file. The base of the car is going to be white because it's mostly a white scheme. I mean, there's a little bit of red to the nose and a little bit of red on the sides, black in the quarter panels, stuff like that. What do we got going on in the comments here? Hold on. Quick question. Where do you get the Gen 6 Camaro temp? So I got mine directly from Solar, I believe, and I believe you can find them in the Gen 6 mod itself. If you give me just a moment, let me look in here. I believe They are in dev. You go into dev. No. This is, yeah, okay, yeah, it's right here. It's in dev. You go into dev, it's body_decals.png. Template right here. The rest of this, the decals plain, is just like the lights, the filler neck, the roof banner, the Goodyear logos, the NASCAR Cup Series logo, etc. The front grille, the UV, the decal mask don't really do much for you. But this nameplate in here is where you would get the nameplate for your car. Although, personally, I would just pull the nameplate out of another skin, color over the name that's already there, and then put your new name where you just color it over. I'm personally, I don't use this. I have a different version of it that I use. It's probably one that I edited to work the way I would like to. But yeah, basically, you go into the Gen 6 mod, you go into vehicles, NASCAR, dev, and it's all in here. So we're going to close out that extra window. Okay, so perfect. Anyway, we've got the base white scheme. Oh, you're welcome, by the way. We got the base white scheme. We're going to, let's start with the driver's side. And there's a chance we're probably going to make multiple layers for the driver's side, but that is okay. So, as you can see, I have multiple tabs. There's multiple different angles, including one of the rear. This came from Trading Paint. Somebody remade the scheme for iRacing. I just needed a reference photo of the rear, so that's why I have that there. But we're going to work on the side. It looks to me like it comes just to the top of the rear Mustang lights, and that comes almost all the way up to the top. It's going to be just above the filler neck, I believe. Because, I mean, in the reference photos, it's right above it, too. So I'm going to do a line from just above the R to just above the filler neck. Probably, yeah, not very far above it. So probably from right about here to here, probably. And I'm going to rearrange my paint scheme so you guys can see this a little better. So sorry about that. So yeah, we're going to go from about right there all the way back here. And the red kind of stops just after that third rivet point before the fourth rivet point down here. I understand that there's more of them down here than on the real life car. But we're going to try and use these as a reference. With that said, I'm going to go from just behind this point, and I can always adjust this later, just before the end of this side vent. Because as you see, the side vent is in the red, but not by a whole lot. So we're just going to go up through here. And do we want it more straight? It looks like it's going to be more straight. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom, but it does go into the skirt a little bit. So we're just going to do this. It's a pretty, the way they have the curve there is pretty smooth. We're going to try and do the same thing here. It looks like we have at least the starting portion of it pretty good. Actually, there we go. I'm pretty happy with that right there. So I'm going to pull this part of it back a little bit, because what I'm going to do here in a moment is I'm going to cover this with a white, make that like a peak corner. That, you know, that way so it looks more pointed, like actually in the photo. It would be great if that would actually pop up when I click it, but that way so there's no overlap there. I'm going to go back, and again, we're going to do a lot of back and forth referencing, so I apologize if that gets confusing, but we're going to go just above right here when we draw the next line in. We're going to do that from, it's right at the top of the skirt. Yep, it's right at the top of the skirt. Probably going to do it from just before that to right here. And we'll click it up 1, 2 presses on the arrow key, and we have that part done. Let's see what's going on in the comments now. Hey, L-Dog again. Switched to GIMP a while ago. So I've never really been that big of a fan of GIMP, if I'm being honest with you. I've just never... So, like, I was able to figure out Photoshop pretty good when I was in high school. GIMP, for some reason, just does not click with me. I can't figure that one out. I can't really give you a good reason why. I just can't ever seem to find anything when I'm looking for it in there. And that's kind of a pain when you're trying to make something. But if it works for you, man, I got no qualms with that. Good for you. I've just never been able to get it to work right for me personally. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna actually select this layer, but then we're gonna select the inside of it. Turn it up a hair. I know it's the cursed paint bucket method, but hear me out here. We're gonna actually clean up the edges now that we're done doing that. So we're gonna run a white line right over the edge from top to bottom. As you can see up here, it's making that point edge that I was looking to try and make. Down here is where that's gonna line up straight, it looks like. And boom. The rough edges across there are good. And that is the majority of the side design already. I might have to reshade this shade of red because it looks pretty bright at Daytona and then it looks pretty dark here. I believe this is New Hampshire, but New Hampshire might have just been under some clouds that day. So we'll just have to wait, load it into the game, see how it looks there. But we at least got the first chunk of the design going. Yeah, me too, Eyeless. I like Paint.net because it's basically MS Paint with some Photoshop aspects to it. You're able to stack layers like you can in Photoshop. All the tools are there. It's pretty easy to find what you're looking for. It's if you use Microsoft Paint as a kid, you already know how to use Paint.net, and you can tell that this was designed back in 2008 based on some of its simplicities, and that's part of the reason why I enjoy using it. And yeah, I agree with you, L-Dog. Having more than 4 points on the line tool is a nice point, is a nice feature of GIMP. I do like that. I wish there was more than 4 points to select on the line tool in Paint.net, but at the same time, I guess you can't quite have everything you want. I mean, you can if you had Photoshop, but I'm not spending that. I can't afford it. So I'm gonna go from the top of this rear bumper. This kind of looks like it's straight-ish. Because when I look at this, it kind of looks like it comes up like 2/3 of the way up the wheel well. But if I look at it more from this, yeah, I guess that is 2/3 of the way up the wheel well. Never mind then. We'll just straight line this, kind of like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 clicks down to try and give it a little bit of that angle. And we're just going to color this in black because this whole rear quarter panel is black for the whatever fire alarms logo was there. I was just looking at it a second ago and can't remember the name of it. That's wild. Let's see here. I'm not going to paint bucket this because it's easy enough to just fill it with the line tool. And I don't like paint bucketing a lot of things, but when it comes to like big chunks like the base of the scheme, I don't mind cleaning up rough edges. But for a small section like that, I'll just line tool fill it. Not a problem. And then for the rest of the side design, there's one stripe. I'm going to guess it's about 35, 45 pixels long. It goes from the top right of the jack entry post down, and everything left of that is in red. There's going to be a straight angle in the white. But it looks like the top of the red is going to start about right in here. I don't think we're going to quite get it 100% perfect to the real life model, but I think that's in part just where some of these extra placements on some of these other things are in the templates here. not really if anybody's doing wrong there, just how it was modeled. So we're going to put that in. It's right about there where it's supposed to be. It looks like it's supposed to be right about there, but I think it's supposed to be a little narrower now that I'm looking at it. So let's try this. Did that line go all the way? No, it didn't quite go all the way up front either. So what about... Okay, yeah, this will work. Here we go. Yeah, sometimes you just have to play with what you're working on to figure out what you're trying to do. It's just... Sometimes it's just freehand, free playing. I don't really know how else to better explain that. Let's see, how far up does this need to be? About the roll bar that's in here. I'm gonna keep sliding this back further, I guess. No, that's not gonna really do much help us here. Because then I'm gonna have to redraw it back forward again. But I guess we're just gonna have to do more of a slightly angled angle here. That works. No, that's actually really angled there. Well, what about... Well, I mean, it's well above that in real... Is the white supposed to be more of a angle, I guess? We'll do that. We'll follow it along the red, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clicks up. I'm gonna swing this back down all the way to the left. Do you see where the pixels are starting to move up and down? That means I got it right about where I'm looking for it to be. Okay, yeah, that red line looks like it goes right above where the lip, where it sticks out, would go. And now we're able to change the angle. And I'm actually pretty happy with that. It looks a little better to me. I see the gap opening's a little higher. You see that white outline around the jack post entry. Just can't quite figure out if I should line up with that or the post opening. So we're just going to put it on the post opening. Wow, we got 5 people in here. Thanks, guys. I didn't think we'd have this many on a last minute stream here today. Hey, Dice, how are you? Priest's 2020 scheme for cans. So the Bush baked bean scheme, I know what you're referencing there, Ilis, and that's actually on my planned to-do list. No wait, he drove the 37. I don't know why I opened 47. That's Ricky. I know exactly what you're talking about here. From Kansas, this car right here. Yep, this is on my planned to-do list at some point. Haven't done it quite yet. I did make this a couple years ago. It's not a very high quality version, but I did make this a while back. So I wouldn't mind updating that. And that's why it's on the list. So looking at the CitGard car, I think we got the side pretty much done. And for that, here I'm going to save my PSD before it flattens itself. Earlier today, my computer did an update while I had the PSD file for the Bell car open. That's why I didn't really want to show it, because it was done and then it wasn't done. It's a pain. I'd rather just save it at every save point than deal with that again. So we're going to save that as a .dds, because in the scripts, it's a .dds file to load the car in game. We're going to launch this real quick. We're actually going to be rendering this in game. Okay, so hear me out on this. I understand Blender is a very good tool for doing renders of paint schemes, for doing renders of models. But I'm basically illiterate when it comes to how to use it. If you give me a model that is all set up, ready to go, all I need to do is change the skin file. I can do that. Could not tell you how to do that on my own, though. How to set it up for myself. I'll be straightforward on that. However, rendering it in the game allows me to see how it's looking in-game color-wise, texture-wise, see if I need to change anything out for something else. Like, I can see already that it's pretty glossy, and then I'm probably going to change that later. But if I spin this around to look in the light a little better, that's actually a pretty close shade to red to what I'm looking for. And I'm going to zoom out, kind of get this into a spot to put it into photo mode. And we're going to pick up the camera a little bit. So we're going to go back and forth through here. I'm going to close that. That doesn't look bad. I'm actually pretty happy with the start of that. I kind of wish that white line on my version was a little tighter. Like a little more narrow, that the red was a little wider. Actually, I could probably fix that if I do this real quick. Let's make this like 17. Oh yeah, I did put a white layer above that. Hang on. We're going to flatten this because I'm pretty content with the driver's side as is for the most part. And we're going to try this again. We're going to go from edge, follow the edge, make sure it's the same angle the whole way. We're going to close this up a little bit because it looks like these stripes are about the same width. I think this one angles down a little more to make that a little wider, but it narrows up a touch over there. Kind of doing the same thing over here, but not quite. So I think this is pretty good. This is a little closer to where I was hoping it would be. We're going to clean up the front of that again. Okay, right there is good. And boom, the driver's side of the car is done. We got this big piece of red, that little red stripe, and that black quarter panel. Big red chunk, red stripe, black quarter panel. So that's the driver's side. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to name this other one the passenger side, because what we are going to do here is just flip it. Quite literally, we're going to take the layer, flip vertical, and then we are just going to use the arrow tools to try and line this back up as closely as we can to how it looks on the driver's side. And we can always adjust this later. The rear end's going to have some red and some black that goes across. So we're going to use that as a reference point as to where this should be. But for now, we're going to use the jack point for that. So the top right corner of that right there looks like it's at the top of the white on the front and a little bit into the black on the back of this logo. It looks like it's a hair lower on this side than it is on this side. It could just be logo placements from the template. It could just be where I put it for now. So we're going to adjust on that later. And I'm going to take a moment to look at the chat because it's been a few minutes since I've done that. CK Skybox for Beam and G. I'm not familiar with what that is, to be honest. Is that like Blender, or is that a different paint application? If it's a different like model rendering software, I might check that out. Could also be Twisted Sister since the sides are the same. Yeah, that's also fair. So like I've noticed that a few times. I'll make a scheme, I'll flip the side over to one way or the other, and it's like 1 pixel off from perfectly lining up, and I can't quite figure out where or what it is. It just kind of takes a little bit of playing around with, and eventually I'll find it. So the next thing we're going to do is the rear end of the car. And for that, I want to be in 100% zoom. That's why I just clicked the photo. Actually, we're going to go 150 on this. Just keep it as close as we can. Now, this is where we're going to use this reference photo from Trading Paint. Probably not the most accurate source, but we'll just go with it for now. We're going to go from the top of this about right here. We're just going to make the whole thing red, because when I'm going to put a second layer on top of it, and that's going to be the black, and then I'm going to flatten them together. So for now, I'll save the PSD here when I'm done with the rear end. For now, I'm just going to line the red up, change the DDS file. You saw how it updated there. The red jumped further down the skirt. I actually like how that looks a lot more than before. That looks pretty spot on in my opinion. We're going to take a look here at the rear. You can see it's pretty high. It's right above the filler neck as it would be in real life. So with that being said, I'm going to assume that the rear end, the red goes up just above the top of the rear grill area. And with that said, because this is just a selected area that I filled in with color, we're just going to drag the whole thing up to about right there. We're going to do another render check. Make sure that's lined up. Okay, save, flatten, switch back to game. Yep, you saw it pop up there. Wow, that was perfect. Oh, we could go up one more. 1 pixel. All right. 1 on the arrow key. Back to DDS. It can be pretty tedious sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm pretty tedious about it. And there we go. So the red line's up back there. CK Skybox mod for beam literally just changes the skybox from the terrible regular beam skybox to realistic ones. Okay. So okay, that's a mod for beam then. Okay. I see. All right, I'm following along now. I'll check that out. News. This news to you. You can use the arrow to go up and down. Yeah, you can use the arrow key. Just click it once, it moves up once. You click it down once, it goes down once. Left or right, it goes by 1. You can use that as just an easier movement tool than your physical grab and drag. If you can see that you're just off center by a couple pixels, use your arrow keys. It's a lot easier to line up than actually grabbing and trying to drag it around. It took me a while to figure that one out. I'm not even going to lie. But just one of those things. We're going to try, I believe it's going to be this part of the rear bumper. We're going to do in black. We're going to go back and render it again. The rendering part is definitely tedious. I 100% agree with anybody who says that the way I'm doing it, it's a pretty tedious process. I'm probably going to go down about 11 or 13 arrow clicks here. We're going to just do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We'll go 13 for now. Render again. I was right at 11. Damn. Okay. Yeah, I should have went with 11 when I said it the first time. All right, we're going to do this again. And I'm going to get in here. I'm going to render it. And it's going to have been 12 instead of 11, probably. Ain't that crazy. Ain't that crazy. I called that one again. All right, we're going to go down one more on the arrow click. And for the 4th time, we're going to render the black spot on the rear bumper. Kind of getting silly here, but oh well. And there you go. The rear end lines up to the driver's side. As for the passenger side, it looks like it's a click high, two or three clicks high, actually. So I know that I have the driver and rear end lined up with one another pretty good. We're going to go here to the passenger side. Take a look at the rear. 1, 2, 3, 4 arrow clicks. We're going to go with 4. Reload it in because it looked pretty close on the black, but a little far on the red. It might just be the way that the top of the body curves, but we're just going to go 4, and if it's 3 or 5, we'll go back and forth one way or the other. Okay. Okay, it's going to be, I think it's going to be 5 here. We'll see how 5 looks. And there's a chance I might also have to push the design forward or backwards a hair just to make that line up in the rear. That's the bad part of flattening before flipping the entire thing over, to be quite frank. But I did that to myself. So the tops of the reds line up, the blacks don't line up, and honestly, I'm just going to redraw that. I'm just going to draw a little black line to make that line up. I don't think I really necessarily have to do a whole lot of tweaking to make this work here. So we're going to go try and follow this line as closely as we can. I'm going to turn down the size of this just a moment. So let's see here. There's line 1, 2. We're going to pop it up 2 just to make it solid. If I need to go down 1, I can. It's not off by very much. It's really not, but we can get that pretty square. And there you go. Let's try bumping it up 1. We'll do that. We'll try it up. We'll bump it up 1. If that's not good, we'll just put it back where I just had it, and we'll just run with that. So we'll click in, refresh. Okay, I'm going to put it back where I had it before because it was fine. I just wanted to see if I could get that a little closer because that you can see right there. It's that black spot in the line where it's kind of like half visible. That's I think that's the unlevel part that I noticed back there. And to be quite frank, I think I'm okay with that. Good enough. You can't really notice that from here, and I'm pretty closely zoomed in on it. So we're going to spin this back around because I would like the nose to face the sun. Because we're going to be working on the nose next. We have the sides and the rear done. And time to get working on the nose. So we're going to actually, because I haven't done it in a while and would not like to lose my progress from here, we're going to save the PSD. You should probably save the PSD file more often than I have been this stream. But, oh well. If you forget and you don't have an issue, then that's good. And if you forget and have an issue, well, that's why I recommend doing that. So we're going to go up here, flatten the rear because the rear design's good. Nose. The nose shouldn't be difficult because it's mostly red. It kind of just curves in from the bottom here up towards the headlight. And it looks like the red, if you zoom in, all of the red is just to the left center of the circle of the headlight. So we're going to try and do the same thing here. The problem with that is we don't have the like on the Camaro mod, how you have the top of the hood there right above it. I don't have that here to work with. So I have to do the nose and then the top of the hood separate. That's kind of the unfortunate part here, but again, sometimes you have an easy, sometimes you don't. Just kind of depends on what you're trying to make here, I guess. We're going to drag that one out. We're going to drag this out to make it curve. We're going to drag this top one in a little bit because it curves a lot more from the bottom than it does up here anyways. Looks like it's about halfway. So actually I got that out pretty far then, don't I? We're going to bring this back a little bit. We're just going to use our arrow tools. Shout out arrow tools for making life on here a little easier sometimes. Boom. All right. And for simplicity's sake, because I'm just going to do half of the nose at a time, we're going to put a line here. And I'm just going to fill this part in with a bucket. Because we're just filling the entire nose red here, at least at this part of it. We're going to make it 22 wide. actually curve this in a little bit so it's not just a big straight line there. And we're going to fill in that little filler white space right there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and load this back into BeamNG. This is our 17th render check probably in the last 20 minutes. See, we got it down the middle. We got it up to the headlight. It is just a hair left. And if you look at it from the side, okay, that's perfect. That's exactly where I want it. We're going to do the top of it from the hood, but that part is perfect. I'm happy with that. We are just going to flip it and try and line it up, flip horizontal. See how that side just popped up right there? It's pretty close to the middle of the PSD file here. So it shouldn't move very far. You'll see it pop up whenever you go to do that. Just like on the other side, it's pretty square with that center edge of the light. Like you can see right here where it curves in straight towards that. Right here it curves in straight towards it. Okay, I can always move that around if need be. But with that said, we're going to move to this part. We're not going to flatten the nose just yet in case I need to move some of that around. This part of the hood, you can see this is where the Mustang lights come up, and we're going to be working more or less on this side of it. How far up does it come? Just past the hood vents. It makes a tiny little point, and it's going to be just before the G in Goodyear. So approximately right in here is where that point is going to end. So we're going to turn this down pretty small. I might even make that a touch smaller here, actually. But it does. We're going to leave that straight for now, because I want to see how that loads in. I might have to curve it outward a little bit. It looks probable. But with that, like straight outward like this is what I mean, to clarify. But we're going to go from like the center of the Ford logo to about right here. And this is a pretty straight cornered curve. So like the bottom is pretty straight here, going across through the Ford logo, kind of at the top of the point in F. So right here is where in line you're wanting to be, where we're looking to be here. No, I overlaid that a little too closely. There we go. All right. We're going to zoom in just a touch because we're going to switch back to white. From right about here, we're just going to follow point to point, up and over 3, up and over 2, 3, and we're going to move that one over 1. Okay, so that makes a pretty good point right there. I'm just going to fill this part right here with the paint bucket. And we're going to finish filling this in with the line tool. For small areas like this, I don't mind using the line tool to fill areas up. Most of this is going under the mask of the template anyways. So it's not like the bottom edge is going to really be showing. I'm not going to sit here and say you should use the paint bucket for everything, like filling your logo with color, like small graphics, just hitting it with the paint bucket to fill it in. That's kind of how you kill your loose edges, your light edges. But if you're trying to fill in a space that you know is going to be an entirely solid area, I don't quite see a problem if you make a selection in it and fill a portion of it and then line tool it the rest of the way, kind of like how we're doing here. So that's half for the front. Let's go ahead and that might be a little too far up the hood now that I zoom out to look at it. So we're going to go ahead and render it in and just take a look. Worst case scenario, we just make it a little shorter. We're going to go ahead and render. Okay, we can slide that over quite a bit, actually. All right. Whoops. Well, how far up the hood does it go, actually? That's perfect in terms of length up the hood. We just have to slide it over a good bit. So that's fine. We just have to recolor in the middle area a little bit. Could be worse. We're going to save again. We're going to re-export. If that's lined up, we'll just flip it over and line it up on the other side, and then we'll flatten the nose altogether. Did that render? Okay, that did render, and I'm still not happy with where that's at. So we're going to go even further with it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 clicks down, I guess, towards the top of the fender. If that doesn't get us close, I don't know how. Wow, okay. It's still not lined up, and we can still keep going right. So that's just what we're going to do here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're pretty close to the edge right there. Hang on. Because I might have to make that a straight edge that kind of goes along the curvature of the hood if we want to fix that correctly. So we're going to do this again. Oh, okay. Perfect. That is perfect right there. I'm pretty happy with that. Looks like the point of the hood goes up just past the hood vent. Same way it does here. And it is also just before the G in Goodyear, which we're going to change out the Goodyear logo. We're not going to paint bucket them in. Just a heads up in advance here. But yeah, so we've got a good portion of the hood ready. We just have to paint it back to center. That way so we can actually flip it over and line it up to the same point. It doesn't have to be perfect center. It just has to be at least center, maybe a touch over. So we're going to set it about right here. Give you a good rough spot where to go with it. So we're going to copy the hood layer. We're going to flip it vertical. Did I do that wrong? No, okay. I was going to say it just disappeared. So it's underneath the mask somewhere. Not a biggie. We'll drag it out. There it is. So we're going to zoom back in. And to me, it looks like the point is like damn near touching the mask. So we're going to try and do the same thing over here. Like that. Yeah, basically like that. That's quite literally what we're looking for. So we're going to render in DDS again. Flatten. We're going to go back to game. Respawn the car. Okay, so I see how we can tighten this up a little bit. Because on the passenger side, you can see it lines up, but it looks like I have the grill portion over just a hair. And that's fine, not a problem. We didn't flatten the nose portion, so that should be easily adjustable. I already have a selected area. I need to get rid of that square. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clicks over to the right. I'm going to flatten again. And respawn. That side looks pretty good. If I can get it over a little tighter, I will. And I'm probably going to slide over the driver's side a little bit as well. So we're going to go back to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. We're just going to move it 3 for now. And as for this side, I'm actually going to move it 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 clicks of the arrow pad left. and flatten. How does it look now? Okay, the left side looks good. The right side can come in a little more. And this is what I mean by at points of working on these. Sometimes they can get pretty tedious because it's like I have the right shape, I have the right color, I have the right design. It's just, oh, do I have the wrong layer on? Yeah, I have the wrong layer on. Whoops. But sometimes you just have to go back and forth a couple of times, and it can get sillily repetitive. So repetitive it gets silly. But we're going to save the PSD once we get the front end piece together how we want it. And I think we just got it right there. I'm pretty happy with that. Zooming on the headlight. It looks pretty rounded. It looks pretty straight. I think it could come in a couple more, but I really don't want to drag it in more than I have the driver's side, because the driver's side's pretty spot on. It's like the passenger side comes in a little more. Well, so is there a good angle of the passenger front nose of this scheme anywhere? In diecast, it looks like it comes towards the start of that first line, actually. But I know diecast isn't exactly a good reference, but you can see here it looks like it's towards the third line. What about this render? That's actually a small copy of that photo. It's not going to actually show it very well. I think that's what happened is they have the passenger side slid over a little further inward than they did the driver. So, okay, I got the right side of it. Slide it in 6 more. And for the 38th time, we're going to render the nose of this car. We're going to refresh, take a look at this. All right, boom. Perfect. We have the base. The base scheme is done. Actually, I guess I'll show off the base in its entirety, but the base of this is done. We are at logo placing, but I'm going to save the PSD file before I lose what I have. And I'm going to take a moment to check comments here after I do that, because it's been a few minutes since I've actually done that. So save as a PSD. Okay. What we got going on? Yeah, I hate when I lose my scheme's PSD file too while I'm working on it, Dice. When's the mod coming out? So try, I'm going to be straight with you. I am at, I think this is the 15th scheme of the pack, and I have 48 planned. But I've only been working on this for about 2 weeks, so I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's probably going to be another month or so if I keep working at it the rate I have been. We're going to merge the nose layers together with the hood, because that is all one piece. The rear is its own thing. Okay. Perfect. Let's go up here. Where is the Goodyear logo? Okay. So we're going to change the Goodyear logo out entirely. I'm going to go to my logos folder. I have a big collection of stuff I have collected over the years that, oh no, wait, nope, that's quite literally a really bad template copy of the Goodyear logo. We're going to go Goodyear PNG here. And it was one of those files where it kept the background even though it's a PNG file, but we're going to turn that down to 45 so it doesn't collect all of the loose edges. We're going to center that. We're going to, nope. Want the whole thing in the middle there. There we go. Center here. Center here. We're going to delete the whole thing. Probably going to make this a touch darker, the shade of blue. When I say a touch, I don't mean by a whole lot, because it's pretty much there. We're going to make this a little more on the blue, but we're going to turn this down to about a 50. And with the paint bucket tool, we're going to turn down the tolerance so it doesn't take up the loose edges, mess with them too much. And when we do this, and then downsize it, those loose edges will come together a little better. When I say a little bit, it's pretty mild. I'm not a big fan of paint bucketing things, but when it comes to a logo that you know is going to get smushed small and you just need to change the color on it a little bit, I mean, do what you got to do. So we're going to shrink this. Pretty much just going to cover the old one that's here. Same spot, same location. I'm going to try and rotate it the same way if I can. And the reason I don't just color the logo that's already there is if you paint bucket a small logo that's already small, you're just going to make it look all fuzzy. You're going to just, it looks gross. It looks pretty rough. So we're going to try and drag this closer to shape. Maybe shorten a touch. Kind of like that. Maybe angle it a little up. We're going to put this right above our paint layers. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to turn off our current Goodyear curved logo. I'm going to select the layer that way so when I go back into paint to work on it, if I control Z twice once it's flat, it'll bring it back to a layer, and then it'll bring me back to the layer I was working on if I hit control Z twice. So I selected the layer so I can go right back to this. And yep, that is exactly where I want it. That's a good curve. And pretty happy with how that looks. So we're going to just flip it 180. I can always reselect it and then recurve it over here. I got to turn back on the Goodyear curved text for a moment so I can look back at where it was and then place it from there. I'm going to take a look at the comments again. When mod comes out, can I send you mod? Yeah, I can do that. You really need to make a template with selectable layers for the cup cards. Yeah. I mean, shoot, Try. Do you want the template that I got already? Because I can just send that to you. It's a 2020/21 template that I kind of pieced together for this. I think I changed some logos to make them a little clearer. I don't think I really did a whole lot with it besides that, basically. But if you want that, I can send it to you, and if you want to play with it from there, you can. So I'm going to put that there. Well, I'm going to put it up and over one like that, I guess. We're going to turn off the Goodyear curve that was already there to begin with. Save as DDS. So I'm happy with the driver's side Goodyear logo. Let's take a look at the passenger side one. And that one I'm going to push forward like 3 pixels, but I'm pretty content with where that's at. I'm going to try and get the point of the shoe there towards the center. Yeah, right there's good. Right there's fine. Not a big difference, but it should look a little more centered. It like 1 or 2 pixels really does make a big difference looking at it, because like you saw me only move that 3, but look, you saw where the dot was compared to the bottom of that, and you could see where it slid forward a little bit because that G is now almost touching the flat edge of the wheel well, whereas it wasn't quite before. And actually, that kind of tells me I need to re-rotate this just a little bit. 1, 2 maybe. Because the G needs to come up, the R needs to come down. So we're going to do this again. Nope. There we go. And that's perfect. All right, I'm good with that. So the Goodyear logos have been changed. They've been colored the way we would like them to be. We're going to go ahead, zoom back out. We're going to make the Goodyear logos flat. I didn't mean to copy that. I meant to flatten that. We're going to bring this back up here, right to where the Goodyear curved logo was. Goodyear blue is what we want on. And perfect. From here, we're going to go back to logos. slap some car numbers on. So we're going to go 38. Furniture row 22, PNG. Right here. Take a look at this. It's going to be a black outline with a white number. Is that going to be everywhere? Looks like it's going to be everywhere, including the rear. I don't have a really good shot of the right front headlight. Let's see if I can. Oh, okay, here we go. Black numbers with a white outline for the front end. Okay. Well, that answers my question right there. So let's go ahead. 35 tolerance. Take a look at that. Okay. That changes the color without really messing up with the loose edges. Oh, you know what? I forgot to color the roof red. How the hell did I forget to do that? And whatever, we'll grab it in a minute. Let's go ahead and get the roof number placed on here. Have to shrink that a little more. That's pretty much center, but I think can I get a clearer roof shot? Okay, there we go. The number's pretty small. It's pretty center and away from the windshield. So we're going to shrink it like this, maybe. Okay, that's pretty close. And we're going to slide the number. The back of the number should be right around the B pillars. So we're going to slide this forward a little bit, kind of like here. 3 more forward, 2 more forward. 3 looked like a little too much. And boom, we're going to close that out there. Copy. Okay, yeah, I don't know why I took the selected space away, because I'm still going to need that. I'm having a bit of a rough time at the moment. So let's do this again. All right, I'm going to resize it. It's going to be just on this side of the B pillars. The top of the 3 and 8 should line up with the top of the Cup Series logo, but the bottoms of the numbers should line up with the bottom of this door vent. So let's take a look. We're going to bring up the bottom like this. The front of the 3 should be in front of this bar, but behind the front of the triangle in the window. So we're going to pull this back a little bit. Maybe a little further, like right there. I'm going to bring this down about, move this up a couple. 1 in the middle there. 2 in the, okay, exactly where I had it before, I guess. Bring the number back down a touch, bring the number back up just a touch. Kind of in the middle. I guess pull the number in just a touch more. So we're going to do a render. Make sure we have the door number and roof number scaled about where we want it. If that is about where we want it, we're going to roll with it, because we're going to use the same door 38 on the other side. That is perfect. That's perfect. I'm happy with that. It's right there at the bottom of the side vent. It's right there at the top of the Cup logo. It's there before the B pillar. The top of this lines up with this post, but the bottom's right here in the middle of that triangle. So I'm happy with that placement. I'm happy with that size. Roof number, I'm happy with the placement and the size. I just need to put the CitGard logo here and paint it red. So let's go ahead and paint the roof red first before I forget to do that again. Just come up to here. Oh, I guess I can't scroll or roll it exactly where I'd like it to be. Above nose, let's do roof. I don't know where that layer just went, but okay. So what we're going to do here is on the front, it's just a hair in, but it's going to run with the roof rails. So we're going to do this in like size 13. I need the red color. The red color would help painting a red roof. So we're going to try this again. We're going to go from, I guess not. Okay. There must be a 1 pixel selection somewhere. And we're going to go back here. This needs to curve with the roof rail through here. And honestly, I think I'm going to just put it to there. Because again, without really seeing a good shot of the back, it doesn't look like it runs down with the windshield. It looks like it kind of just stops there. So, and we're just gonna hand draw both sides of this. So, because it's just a couple pixels. I mean, I know it's gonna be a few in on each side. We're gonna curve this one in. Curve this one in. This one can come in a little bit, actually. This one, a little more. Like that. And this is actually kind of rough on the passenger side. I'm trying to get this to line up pretty closely if I can. There we go. Right there. And boom, there we go. Okay, so we got the majority of the roof, the base of the roof, the frame. I guess it's not the base, but more or less the frame of the roof, where the color should be running through. We have that part done, so we can just paint bucket that in, and then we'll finish it with a line tool from here. As long as your paint bucket isn't messing up your loose edges, then you're not really harming anything with it. Just don't be using the paint bucket for everything in the entire way through. That's, again, this is probably the 8th time I've said it tonight. You've got those light edges, and without the light edges of the photo, it kind of blends in. It looks really pixelated. So don't just paint bucket everything. That's how you get solid edges, and the solid edges are they're pretty rough to look at sometimes. Oh, we still have part of it that's not colored in right here. Whoops. Just like that. We're going to save again, because I would like to see the roof number with the colored roof now. And there we go. Now the base is done. Now the base design's done. Oh, wow, we got that perfect. Look at that passenger side where it peaks up right into the top of the window banner. Could not have asked for that to line up even any better than that. I guess that white gap in the what? Well, I can't really follow the rail without following the post down. It doesn't follow the post down. Yeah, it looks like it's blank on there too. So we're gonna leave it blank. And again, I know a Trading Paints reference photo isn't the best reference photo, but that's quite literally the only shot of the rear end of that car I can find so far. So do I have any of the CitGard logos already pre-saved? Actually, we're gonna figure that out in a couple minutes, because I want to finish the number placements. So we're gonna grab this door number. We're gonna rotate it over. I'm gonna bring it all the way down here, and I'm gonna explain why in just a moment. So we're gonna zoom in. We're gonna get the edges, edge to edge of the number, about as center to one another as possible. And then using the arrow tool, I'm just gonna drag it straight up. And we're just gonna do a rough placement. And then from here, with the arrow tools, we're going to do the same thing as on the driver's side. We want the top to meet the top of the NASCAR Cup logo, and the bottom to be right about the bottom of the door vent. So right about here. Right about now, a couple. Yeah, where I just had it a moment ago is actually perfect. The second number pretty much should be within the top of that red, but I guess on the passenger side it's not. Let's go back and look at that reference photo again. They're not quite on this side. They are on this render photo, but that looks high in general as well. Are there any good photos of the passenger side? It looks like the 3 is sticking up in this diecast photo, or this diecast render. It doesn't hurt to go back and forth the way I'm doing it right now, but it's definitely time consuming back and forth if you're not sure exactly where your placements are supposed to be. I will admit that. We're gonna do the rear number next. I'm gonna drag it over here, and before I put it where it belongs, I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna copy it because I have to invert the black and white for the front number. So with that said, we're just going to have a big logo there. It's easier to recolor them when they're slightly bigger. This is going to be pretty small. It's going to go on the bottom right of the bumper. I want it to be about 2 of those light fins wide. Kind of like that. Maybe a little smaller. Perfect. I want that in line with that middle vent. The middle fin of the light, I guess. It's not a vent, but I think you know what I'm trying to say here. I don't really know how I'm trying to phrase that. Kind of like that. It lines up with this Michigan 21. I gotta change these rear Mustang plates. I don't understand why they ever did the year on the plates, but whatever, not my call. But with that said, I do have to go back and change that. For now, I'm going to use 35%. No, do I not have the right? I still have that selection, don't I? Yep, I'm going to turn this center to red for now. Get off the bucket tool. Rough. We're going to turn that down to 30. And then in the center here, we're going to go back to black. So we're going to hit it twice to try and clean up some of those center edges. It's going to be a smaller logo, so as you shrink it, some of those light edges will blur back up. We're going to take a look at a die-cast render of the front end if I can find one. This works too. So the 3 is under the center bulb. Seems easy enough to follow. Seems like it's a larger number 2. So we're going to do it like this. We're going to leave it straight for now. If I want to rotate it, I can. Yeah, right there is good. So perfect. We got our numbers placed. Once again, we're going back to BeamNG to do a render check. And also, just a heads up, if you haven't been here since the start, I think we're already past the hour point. So, like, when I say it gets pretty time intensive, I genuinely mean it. I mean, all we've done is the base and numbers. I'd still have to do logos. I still got to do a rear name banner. Not that it's going to take crazy long, but this stuff does get pretty time consuming sometimes. I'm happy with the passenger side number. I'm pretty happy with that number. I might shrink the nose number a touch and slide it over to the right a little bit before we move on. That rear number I'm definitely going to shrink and move up and left a hair. So we already, I think the last thing we were working on was at 38. So we're going to go back to having it selected, Control Z twice. You can do that on paint.net. I guess I needed to hit it 3 times to get it back to the layer as well. So we're going to shrink that, move it over just a touch. Then we're going to come over here, grab this one right here is the layer. We're going to shrink it. Just a little more. Up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 over 10 up. That might be pretty close. We're going to try this again. And also, thank you guys who are still hanging around and supporting the stream. I'd like to do more streams going forward. I've never really done them. They've always seemed pretty fun. I've just not had the knowledge to do it or the time to do it, to really get into them. But I figure we'll practice one tonight because I'd like to do a Christmas Eve stream. So here we are. We're doing a paint scheme and a stream at the same time. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're gonna move it. Actually, I'm only gonna move it up 9 instead of 11 clicks of the arrow for now. If I need to move it up 2 more, I can. I'm pretty happy with the size of it. But I do have to put in the Rookie of the Year stripes because John Hunter Nemechek was a rookie in 20. I like that number to be center in the Rookie of the Year stripes on the rear. So with that said, that rear number is good where it is. That front number is good where it is. I still need a front row logo for the nose. Was there one on the rear? A front row? Yeah, there is a front row logo on the rear. Okay. So one on the front, one on the rear. Yeah, let's just do that now real quick while we're thinking about it. Roughly, it's going to be about the same size as those numbers, so it really shouldn't be too hard to figure out what we want to do here. We're going to get the WebP file. And it looks like we're going to actually have to modify this a little bit. So be patient with me here a little bit. I'm going to show you about a little bit about modifying logos. We're going to trim a little bit of that bottom off. It looks like it's just got a white outline that follows there, and I'm going to assume it's straight lines around the rest of it, around this side of it. So with that said, we're just going to use this black line tool to draw up it like this. To curve around and over here. Because I'm going to use this black line to select and remove whatever's outside of it. So it's like I have an outline shape without actually having to make the outline itself. We're going to bring it down to about right here. And this isn't going to be a very big logo. So in my opinion, it doesn't have to be the highest resolution quality at this stage, because it's gonna get pretty pixelated once it gets shrunken down. Bring this a little bit lower. And yeah, that's perfect right there. We're going to continue to do this. One click down and over to make sure. I think we got everything here. So we're going to select the outer. We're going to do this in pretty heavy tolerance to actually collect all the loose edges, if we possibly can. I guess we're going to have to do this in 65 over here. No? 67. That's been a while since I've had to go up that high to actually collect everything I was looking to collect, but we'll go with it. We're going to go over here, get that, and boom. We have a trimmed Front Row Motorsports logo that looks like I just took a piece of the corner off of over here. So with that said, I don't know why I just made another layer when I can just copy it. Shoop. We're going to bring it up, line it back up. And then once again, we're going to use the selection tool, straight edge, flatten them together, and voila. We have a outlined two-shape front row motorsports logo. So we're going to go up towards the front end. We're going to shrink this down some so we can actually fit the whole thing in screen, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little larger in the rear. We're going to double up on this, turn off the one. So we're only looking at one. Bring it down here. How big is it in that render photo again? Not very big. Not very big at all. So we're going to go kind of like this. Maybe about as wide as the light. Bring it in a little. How far in did we have? 30. 2 more. And we're going to go ahead and we'll render it in a minute. Let's get this front logo on too. We'll render that in a minute. So for front row, front end, shrink the size. So you can see it's going to get pretty pixelated the smaller it gets. But we're going to slide this. How big under the front end is it? Not very big at all. We're actually probably going to curve this a little bit to go with the nose. And I should probably do the same with the other, on the other side with the front end number. I'm going to slide that in right there. That should be pretty close. We're going to render the team logos on the body now. And thank you to anybody who's still hanging around in here. I do appreciate the support. I would like to keep doing streams like I was talking about earlier, and seeing that after an hour there's still people hanging out in here. That's telling me I'm probably doing something pretty good here, or at least worthwhile. At least warrant doing it again, or more often in the future. And who knows? Maybe we'll do another paint night. We're gonna go back here. This needs to come up. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. We need this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-Up was it about? 7-Up's a good drink. Wasn't trying to make that reference, but just kind of came out. We're going to render that again. That's perfectly centered. That's going to be right in the middle of where the Rookie of the Year stripes are going to be. I'm pretty sure I already have Rookie of the Year stripes in this template. So let's take a look here. We have, is there supposed to be a colored splitter on this? Doesn't appear to be. Yeah, I don't see anything happening there. Okay, so Goodyear blue. Good Lord. Man, I'm having an episode right now. I'm sorry, guys. I literally just said what I was going to be doing, and then it slipped right out of my mind about as quickly. Okay, rookie stripes. That's what I was looking for. Sorry about that, guys. So there we go. We got the rookie stripes on. The front end is going to have the Rookie of the Year Sunoco logos shrunk and next to the Sunoco logos that are up front normally. So we're just going to move and modify these, shrink. Fortunately, it's drag tool back to the rescue. They're going to be just as tall as each other. And this one's going to be really narrow. Kind of like that. Oh, hell, let's do this. We're going to copy the layer, delete everything around it. We're just going to drag it over via the line tool, or the arrow tool, sorry. And we're going to go back down to the base layer of this and delete the other one that's over here. So we're going to make this selection right here, rookie stripes, boom. And there we go. Our rookie of the year logos have been updated to match our stripes on the rear. And let's go ahead and start putting sponsors on. I know I have this fire alarm company one because I have done it in the past. Is it fire alarm services? Yes, it is. All right. So this one takes a little bit to clean up. We're going to 45 tolerance. Select it. Because we have to turn the whole thing white. Thus, we're just going to remove the background. I mean, we have to do that anyways, but we're just going to remove the background and turn this whole thing white. Let's go ahead and select again. Oh, did I forget to grab the inside of that R? I don't remember, but we just got it that time. So, fire alarm ink services. We gotta grab the inside of that R. We're gonna invert. We got the whole logo right here. We're gonna make this a big paintbrush. 100% hardness. Make sure the whole thing is colored. Now we're gonna go back up, select the whole layer. We're gonna shrink this at least like that. Recenter ourselves towards where we're wanting to go with it. Shrink it down some more. Zoom in a little more. Check out our render. Looks like it's more towards the back. The bottom is about level with where the right side of the quarter panel is, but the left side hangs up a little higher. So this is going to sit back here. Kind of short, pretty wide. We're going to rotate it a little bit, kind of like that. Now I want to keep the top of the logo about the same angle as the top. So yep, there we go. Kind of like that. There's going to be a little bit of black between the top of the logo and where the red starts. This has got to come up a little bit. Slide this backwards because the right side of this, is the right side of that next to the filler neck? Just past the filler neck, never mind. I guess where I had it before was a little far back, but not too far back. Probably about right there is good. So we're going to double this. We're going to drag this one up. I'm not going to 180 it like I have other logos because I already have it selected. And I have the size ratio selected pretty good. So I'm just going to rotate it around. I'm going to try and do the same thing like what I did on the other side. Make the top of the box line up pretty square and even with the red. So there we go. We got it like that. How big of a gap is it? I don't really remember. Okay, about half as thick as I have it. So about like that. And not quite all the way to the rear, but just past that last line in the fender. Okay. I'm pretty content with that rear quarter panel logo. First of all, we're going to start flattening some of these logos. These 38s, I'm done with them. And I'm going to rename it just to 38. This helps me to limit how many layers are actually in the file. On my computer, and this might just be my problem, if you have a budget and laptop, you'll probably understand what I'm about to say here. The more layers I have open in a file, the slower Paint runs. So if I added a second 200 layer template to this would probably crash. But if this was only like 8 or 9 layers, everything would be popping up a little quicker when I try to actually, load something up. So we got that. Is that a Safety Clean logo down there? Let's do the Safety Clean quarter panel logo as well while we're here. What about that JPEG? Because if I can just use that JPEG, if it's got like the bubble around it already. If it's got the bubble around it, I'm just going to take the background off. There we go. Okay. I do need to fix that at some point. Make it to where it's not an actual JPEG, to where I can actually just pull a PNG of this. Oh, it's not even a good JPEG. Never mind. We're not even going to bother with that. I'll just do it myself. Safety Clean PNG. We are going to go through, collect some of these white spots, especially inside of the letters. All right. And what we're going to do here is we're going to duplicate this, but not because we're really like doing anything with it, or like paint bucket it or anything like that, because I'm just going to use the second layer like a base to redraw part of the logo. So we're just going to do it. I don't know why I just changed tools like that was going to work. We're going to do this down to here, just past. Yep, okay. Give them a pretty good gap on both sides. And then we're going to duplicate it again. This is where we're going to paint bucket tool a good portion of this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good enough. All right. So that is the Safety Clean logo with the white bubble around the text at the bottom, as seen here, with the white outline around the rest of the logo with the black and red center. This is ready to go. So we're going to shrink this. We're going to zoom in. We're going to shrink it again. Move it. It needs shrunken again a lot. We're going to shrink it like this. Still needs smaller. Yeah, the top of that should be reaching the top of fire alarm text. So we're going to shrink that a second time. Slide it down like here-ish. I want to render this and see how that looks, because I might have to relocate that logo. Or even make it smaller. I don't really know yet. But we're going to respawn. Let's check out the... Oh, I have to move the rookie stripes down. That's right. But this side looks good. I want to actually take a look at the fire alarm in the light here. This looks pretty good. Pretty happy with the logo placement. and sizing of it. The Safety Clean logo is also fine where it is, so I'm good with that. It's good size, it's good placement. So we're gonna copy, rotate over 180 degrees, drag it back down to over here, and same rough placement over here. This one might actually slide up a little bit. DDS, we're going to render the side. Yeah. It looks about the same on both sides. I feel like these logos are supposed to be even smaller. Are they supposed to be smaller than that? No, actually, it looks like it rides up in the quarter panel fold. So we're gonna, okay, that looks pretty good to me then. So if it's up in the quarter panel folds, that must be where it's supposed to go then. All right, so we're gonna do the Mystic Lubricants logo on the front side of the door next. Let's see, I guess I need to go in here. Is it not going to pull up a file name for me when I try to search something because I typed it in partially? I hate my computer. I really need to replace this thing. It acts goofy sometimes like that. Anyway, Mystic. We're going to have to invert the colors. So with that said, we are just going to grab, delete from here. I'm changing my AirPods out so I can keep listening to the stream on my phone and make sure all the audio is working. So one moment. Boom, we are back live. All right, sweet. Nope, it is not. Why is it not connecting? That's great. No, it says connected, but it's not actually connected. Oh, the one that was in the case for an hour is dead. That's awesome. All right, sweet. So I can't actually follow along with the stream to make sure anything's working right. That's unfortunate. So yeah, bummer. Anyways, let's go ahead and just rotate these colors out. I'm just gonna do the same thing like I did earlier. Like 35 tolerance, turn the center letters red because I'm gonna be turning these ones black in a minute. C and S. Okay. We're gonna turn the center in here. What? No, I didn't do all of it the way I was supposed to. Whoops. I forgot to get the trademark logo with it. So let's try this again. Boom, 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 boom. I hit the paint bucket tool again. We're going to change this red to a black. I don't know. I'm hitting the tool to change something else. I don't know why you're not changing. Sweet. Let's try this again. I'm actively ready to throw my laptop out the window. It's been getting goofier and goofier like that. So let's see. gonna have to turn. Nope, just a bad spot to click and paint, I guess. We're just gonna have to zoom in even further. You would think where it's all red, it would just, follow along still, but it's never that easy. Yep, there we go. Turn the whole thing solid, I guess. We're gonna redo the outer edge. Take away the black pixel marks. Big selection. We're gonna shrink it. Why are we not working now? Why is my laptop freezing up? That's great. All right, here we go. Okay, now it's moving around again. Everybody who is in here, if you are actively listening, do not buy an MSI product. These things suck. So we're going to shrink that even further. I don't know why we're trying to shrink that even further. This is going to slide over to here. Just above. Well, it's going to stick just under the 8, but this part of it's going to be about halfway up the 8. Kind of like that, actually. Is it going to be before? It kind of sticks out just ahead of the B pillar, so we're going to actually restretch that a touch and 3 clicks over. So we're going to start with that Mystic logo. We're going to do it again on the other side. Basically the same spot. The lubricants text is right at the top of where the door curves in. So just a hair under the 3 on this side, but about halfway up the 3. Yep. We can go a little lower than that. No, right there's probably good. Right there's probably fine. So that's our Mystic logos. There's Safety Clean logos. We'll bring this down here. The rest of our logos. This is absolutely the most time-consuming part. It is the logos. They will take you forever. Oh man, I don't think I've ever done anything with that. So we're just gonna go ahead and go download a PSD if we can find, or not PSD, a PNG if we can find one. Not a PNG, but that'll work. I don't even know what almond is supposed to be, so we're just gonna name it as almond instead of almond brother. Avif. There we go. Well, actually, if we're doing... Oh, it seems to change which one's there. Hold on. This is from New Hampshire. This is New Hampshire, so this is Kansas. So it's here at Kansas. It's not there. You know what? We're going to go with the 500 version and just put Yanmar there. I probably should have taken a closer look at that. Do we have a Yanmar logo? Nope. We're going to look one up. Yanmar. Is that a PNG file or no? Is it... Yanmar logo. We're going to see if that actually comes up as a PNG because it looks like it from the Wikipedia page, but when you open the image, it doesn't look like it. Okay, yeah, that is a PNG. I don't know why the background is just white, but and over here why it's also just white. So Myanmar, white. We're gonna turn the tolerance down to about 35, just to try and keep the loose edges loose. The outer edge having a hinge of red to it. It's not going to hurt anything on a red base, but if you're going to paint bucket logos, be careful with that. Just make sure you're not, making the edges all fuzzy or just rough looking. That's my only suggestion if you're going to do it. It's not the best method, but it's doable. It is certainly doable. We're going to drag this. Man, how much higher do I have to drag this to make it fit? Looks like Yanmar kind of goes into the fender a little bit. So we're going to shrink it that way and drag it. Okay, yeah, that works. That was pretty good, actually. And where's it at? Like a little lower on the 8. So we're going to drag it back this way a touch. And there we go. We got Yanmar logo in place. We're going to flip it over, 180 degrees rotate. And same thing. We're going to make the inner center edge line up with Mystic and the right side closer to the wheel well. So this is just under the point of the 3 on this side. I'm going to leave it just under the point of the 3 on that side. That gap's just wider than this arrow. That gap is quite a bit wider than this arrow. Actually, I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Bring it down to, there we go. Perfect. All right. So the Yanmar logo is in place. And logos you can always readjust later. If you think you have it close, just run with it. And then when you render it, you'll tell if it's right or not. I honestly don't even know what that logo is. I'm just gonna be straightforward. I'm not even gonna put it in. I don't know what it's supposed to be. But let's see. Let's see if I got a CitGard one in here already. I should. I believe I do. No, I have CitGo, not CitGard. Okay. CitGard logo. Heavy duty engine oil. I have to 404 page not found. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. What about, do they have a Facebook page? Front Row Motorsports. Okay, never mind. Well, this is an issue. Because if that's the only PSD of this that I can find, then we're going to have to redraw a logo from somewhere. And well, that's never any fun. Nope, we went right back to the same one that wasn't any good last time. Shoot. Well, this sucks. Is there anything for partners over here? Does it show CitGard on their partners page? Nope. Why would it? That would just make sense. Open image in a new tab. Ah, shoot. We might have to just pull it from here, but I really don't want to. If we can find a bigger CitGard logo, I'll redraw it. I don't want to have to redraw it, but if we can find one, that works. CitGard. What about CitGard oil logo? Does that find us anything else? CitGard. How about that? Because it seems like it's the same company. Almost. Man, if I can just get like a 2400 by 2400 pixel image of a jug like this, that might fix it. Well, maybe if the text wasn't so small on them, but all right, I guess we're just gonna have to take this. I'm not putting that in my logos. I'm just gonna throw that in my downloads because I don't really want to keep this, to be honest with you. It's not going to be a very high resolution logo, and it's not even the version I would have liked to have found. So we're going to try it this way. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not even the full Sitco logo. And CitGard heavy duty. There's got to be something somewhere. No. Man, it's almost like CitGo doesn't even want you to know that they're the owners of CitGard. Oh, hold on. I don't know if we can even use that logo or not. What about in here? Nope. All right. Well, that's just not going to work then. This is unfortunate. I didn't think it would be this hard to find a CitGo logo. So we're just going to open this. We're going to save this version of it. And we're just going to use this one. Kind of ridiculous. You can't find a CitGard. Well, you would think for being a bigger brand that, I guess they aren't even that big of a brand, but you would think for being from CitGo that wouldn't be that hard to find. But oh well. At least we can move on. Let's take a look at this. How big of a border did it have on the door? Okay, so it had a pretty noticeable border, but nothing crazy. I'm going to change the tolerance for the centers here so it'll grab a little more of this red, and on the outer part of it too. I thought that it was going to be okay at 35, but it just was not grabbing very much of it. So here we go. Man, we're going to have to recolor a good portion of this, aren't we? Try this again. Bigger selection area this time. Quite literally everywhere. Boom. Okay, that took care of some of it. I guess we're going to have to do 50 for the oil text down low. The oil text is white with black outline, yeah. Okay. NIGNEYTUD. YV touched. That's good. Good enough with me, I guess. Turn these up a little bit. Turn that up a little bit. We're going to duplicate the layer, not delete the layer. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do that again because I want the heavy engine oil, heavy duty engine oil part of the logo off with 1. Kind of like that. We're going to work on this one. And we're going to delete that portion. Sweet. Now we're going to duplicate the heavy duty oil logo. Effects, that's what I'm looking for. Effects, stylize, outline, intensity, quality. Perfect. Because it is pretty bold in in the photos. It's a very bold text, very much like the sit part of CitGard. So we are going to do that just like that. Actually, is the hood on the, okay, the hood logo is straight. So we're actually going to copy one of each of these. CitGard hood. We're going to turn that off. We're just going to name that heavy duty and CitGard, because we're going to have to move these one at a time. As for the outer edge of the CitGard logo, I'm going to make that black again. Make it just a tinge darker. I go up, select the whole thing. Underneath just a hair. There's probably less than an hour to go in this stream at this point. I'm thinking and hoping. I would not mind taking a nap. I gotta go to bed. I don't have to go to bed. I gotta go to work at 8 in the morning. Kind of all throughout the day, I've been feeling a little on the edge of a seizure again, but I think that's why I'm starting to get confused a little bit here as to, like, I'm kind of piece by piece figuring out that I'm having an issue here or an issue there. So if something I'm saying doesn't quite make sense tonight, I apologize. I recognize that I'm noticing those flubs. I don't know if I should really rotate this logo or not. So what we're going to do here is just rotate it, make it even with the top. And I'm going to render this. I'm going to render this like this with the CitGard logo down the side. If it looks off, I'll straighten it back out. But if that looks good like that, then I'm going to leave it there. And yeah, that I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you. It looks like it's the right placement. I think it's supposed to be a straight. I'm just going to put it straight like that. I'm also going to, no, we're going to shorten it and rotate it back. I don't know. Sometimes you just have to go back and forth on what you're thinking. Maybe you'll figure out what you're what you're looking for doing it that way. Just sometimes you have to play around for a minute. So this looks like it might be a little closer. It's going to be like right on the wheel well, but let's see how this comes out. Ooh, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, right on the wheel well. I mean, in real life, it did sit right on the wheel. You know what? That's pretty close. I'm gonna run with that. I'm pretty happy with that. So we're gonna take this heavy duty logo. We're gonna select it. We're gonna drag that over here. We're going to make that even smaller. Shrink it. How does that? Okay. It doesn't look tall, but you can definitely tell they shortened it up a good bit. So we're going to pull this out. Wow, it is rotating really quickly. It is a small logo. They do that. Is that pretty even? That's pretty even. Okay. I'm happy with that. Shrink this a little more. Should be like right here at the end, right? Just at the end of the filler neck. Yep. Maybe a couple more pixels that way and one up. Perfect. We're going to render. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. I'm pretty happy with the rear of this car. Yep. And so driver rear is starting to piece together pretty nicely. Pretty happy with it so far. And let's take a look at our top fans real quick. It'll give me like a 2-minute break here. Try, you are number 1 tonight. And Eyeless is 2. Thank you again, Eyeless, for stopping by. Both streams tonight. Dice is 3. L-Dog is 4. Howdy again, L-Dog. And number 5 is Antoine. How you doing, Antoine? I don't think I've actually said hello to you yet. I'll be honest with you. I should probably check in with the comments more often. I haven't been doing that very much, so I apologize if you've been down there and just not really responded to. That's on me. Okay, so we're back in here. I mean, I'm done with the base scheme, so I'm just gonna flatten this and name it scheme. Perfect. Because again, less layers, less render should load quicker, in theory. I need to copy, because this CitGard logo is going to go to the other side, and we're going to have a very interesting time making this work over there. So the top of the black and the top of the red should kind of line up pretty close to one another. Kind of depending on the letter, I guess. And it should start at the front of the B pillar. Looks like the front should be a touch higher than the rear. And it should be sitting just above, kind of like that. Yep. Maybe bump it one more. Okay, yeah, that'll work. As for this one, we're going to do the same thing. But now that we have the CitGard logo over here, we should have an easier time lining this up. Oh, at least a marginally easier time lining this up. It's not going to be difficult. Just if it's not a 0 or a 90-degree point, it's just kind of hard to figure out what's straight and what's not once it's already been curved. and you're trying to curve it back. I have no idea how I phrased that even makes sense, but if it does, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we're going to move this down and over a little bit. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be about halfway down, kind of like that. Yeah, it starts behind the third letter. Should just be just past the filler neck. But oh no, not even quite, not even all the way that far back. Nope. Kind of like right there. Whoops. Now here's another way you can check to see if you have your stuff lined up on one way or the other. If you make a big selection box on one side to the other, and you can see where your box selection gets pretty close to the edges like this, and then you scroll down, you can look at the other side and see how it lines up. Pretty close, not quite perfect. I'm actually going to come to this driver's side one, slide it back a little bit, probably about no clicks yet because I made a small selection. So we're going to try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. We're going to go 5 for now. CitGard logo on both sides, passenger, driver, rears, like rear quarter panel side of the car. So let's go ahead and take a look at this again. We did move this heavy engine oil logo just off that a little bit. This CitGard logo can come down a touch actually, because you can clearly see the gap in the fender, but you can't see it on this one for some reason. I'm not quite following, because the gap looks bigger on this side than it does on this side, but this logo can slide down a little bit. A couple of clicks, 2 clicks. Make them both match up on each side a little bit, I guess. Raise the driver's side one a click. And so the rear deck lid has the same CitGard logo in white and black as it would be on everywhere else. Okay, so we're just going to reload that download image. Actually, did I keep a flat one? I did. I didn't even need to do that. See what I mean by like I've been a little out of it today. My apologies, guys. So we're going to try it this way. We are going to duplicate this. Turn one blank. Or turn one off, sorry. 90-degree rotate. Select the whole area. We are going to shrink it to, it's going to be like clip post to clip post on the deck lid. So I was going to say it's not going to be quite edge to edge, but it is going to be pretty close to being that. I'm going to have to shrink the height on this because, well, obviously. So there we go. We're going to bring that in. I'm going to bring it to the inside of these clips like that. Actually, the registered trademark's almost to the outer, so we're going to bring it out kind of like that, I guess. And boom, we can center the trunk logo, bottom of it, along with this black dot over here. We're sitting on this black dot, but if that were down here, it'd be sitting on the black dot too, so we're okay with that. So we're going to move it up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is our CitGard trunk. And our CitGard hood, we're going to rotate 180 and again 90 degrees one more time for a total of 270 degrees or a -90, depending on how you want to phrase that. Slide this down towards the hood. I need to make sure I have, for the hood logo, I really want to make sure on this. I want to make sure I have the box evenly square because I got to use the center circle, the center node grab spot, whatever you want to call it. I have to use that as a center point to make sure that I have it, lined up to fit in the hood. So I see how I have that lined up pretty good between the O and the R and the 4 down there. So we have to take another look. And it's going to be pretty wide. It's going to be pretty low. So it's not just across the hood. It actually extends past the hood. That was going to be my next question. So we're going to drag. I'm going to drag these dots in till they're just kind of like right here in that little crevice of where the fender sticks in. Kind of a little far in, I think there. That's actually probably spot on, right about spot on there. We're going to move it up too. Get it nice and centered. Shorten it a little bit. And slide it forward because it is almost on that hood vent. Almost being the key word. So how close does it line up to those points? It's going to be right on top of those points. So should be about right here. Kind of makes me wish that those points came in a little closer this way, but I'm happy with where they're at. I don't think you can ever really get it 100% the same thing that was in real life into the game. My point on that is going to be the fact that we're not the original designer. You're not the original designer. We're not the original designer. It's just I don't think you're going to ever quite get the same exact real life version into the game. But I think we can get pretty close. And if we can get pretty close, I will be very happy with that. I don't have a complaint with that. Okay, that's pretty rough. Let's try this again. No, we're just gonna do it the easy way. We're just gonna make our own here. Can I get this actually centered? There we go. Like that. Or we're gonna rotate that to match with the rest. I don't even know where that logo went, where that little R went. Okay, it's up there in the wheel. Then I stuck it in the DF CitGard. Yep, there it is. CitGard logo. I'm going to have to recolor, it looks like. But there is the copyright. I'm going to turn down the tolerance for that final fill. And for this, I'm actually going to grab the outer edge with a pretty high tolerance. A questionably high tolerance, I guess, would be the answer. Because I would like to get rid of the black edge and fill it in with a white edge. I'd rather get rid of the black edge and then turn the white text into black text. I'm sorry, that's how I meant to say that. was going to say, I don't actually need a border around any of these. Duty, heavy, 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 heavy. Boom. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. Perfect. So, wait, did I really invert half of this? Okay, hang on. Wow, that's a goofy special right there, I guess. Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. That was goofy. Yeah, I totally grabbed the wrong thing. That's the first time I've done that in a while. The things you'll do after sitting here for multiple hours working on the same thing. Oh well. Uh, boom. Sweet. I'm gonna clean up that edge right there because that looked pretty bad. I don't see any others that look horrendous. So with that said, we're gonna turn this down to about 40. Do I have the clearance to actually clear this without taking off the top letters? Yep. Heavy duty engine oil in bold black text. Yep. It's kind of rough, I will admit that. But we're just going to go ahead and render this hood logo. This is the whole hood, right? Okay. We had to flatten it for a second. Sorry, man. Yeah, I got a little confused where we're at for a moment. Outlines are always tough. No photo editing software can do it correctly. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say, man. Like it's you can grab and it'll look fuzzy, or you can just paint bucket and it'll look fuzzy, or you can just redraw the whole thing and it'll be perfect. Honestly, that doesn't look bad. It looks a lot worse in the file than it does actually in the game. I think we'll get over that. We'll move past it. We're making good progress here, though. We're most of the way done now. I do still have to move the Rookie of the Year stripes down to a bottom layer, so the number and the team logo will pop up. I might recolor the CitGard logo on the deck lid to actually make it pop up a little bit. Actually, is it supposed to be black text on the deck lid? Hold on. Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, we'll fix that real quick. Boom. That's problem solved. Where's the trunk logo? Here we go. But yeah, no, try. I saw your comment earlier asking about the template for the Mustang. If you need the template for it, let me know. I'll send it over to you. That's not a problem. It's not like I edited it crazy big from how the original version of it was. It's pretty much the same thing as the cup template for the Mustang. I think I changed a couple of the logos in it. At most, is all I did. But it's if you would like it, you can have it. I'll be more than happy to send it over to you. We're gonna put that back. It could probably be a touch smaller, honestly. R. No, it needs to be a capital R. No, I'm not resizing. No, I'm not Shift R does not mean resize. What the fuck? I guess it does mean it now. I don't know. Anything I ever needed to do, it's the opposite of whatever I think. Oh, good lord. One arrow clicked right and it just drugged me across the screen again. All right, let's do this again. Let's try and Shift R. Okay, it didn't fight me that time. We're good. Sweet. Good enough. We're going to rotate it until it looks... Honestly, I'm just going to say close enough. Boom. Copyright logo. Copyright symbol, I guess. So, trunk, side, this. Is there supposed to be one in there? I wish I had more than a trading paint reference photo to work with on this, because if it's not supposed to be like that, I'm going to feel pretty goofy. For now, I'm not going to put the CitGard logo on the rear. I'm going to try and get more reference photos later. If I find an actual, or if I can find the 2020 500 footage, and if I can find Nemechek's car in the race and I see it there, I'll update that later. But for now, I'm not going to put that there. I'll just leave the GT logo. I think it's just front contingencies, and then this. I'm not really worried much about the B-pillar post. Some of these I might put in, but I'm definitely going to put the name rail knees down here on. Only Rick Ware Racing had the GT. Every other Ford had the usually had the sponsor. Okay. I was gonna say, like, I thought that was the case, but I can't find, like, even on the render it's here. So I wasn't sure. Yeah, we'll just put it on, I guess. Where I think I'm gonna have to put it in manually again. Hang on. Boom. We're just gonna do it like we did earlier. And just remove the whole background in low tolerance mode. Except for this part, because this part likes to stay red. But the black outline around these aren't needed, because it's just going to blend into the back anyways. Boom. Boom. And don't want that in 60. No. 45. 45 will do the job. I just want to clean up those red edges. Nothing more. Just like that. And there she be. She's ready for the rear. So there's that. Let's go ahead and drag her up. up over. We're going to shrink it just a little more. We're going to zoom in some so we can actually center ourselves while we work here. In, down, and up. I think that's pretty good. Now, where is the GT logo? Because this has to be above the GT logo in here. I can't just flatten it with the rest of the logo layers. Where are you? GT. We're getting pretty close, I think. Yep, right here. Turn that off. CitGard rear. Perfect. Actually got it to sit underneath that camera too. That's nice. I am done with the rest of the CitGard logos. So those can go down here. Okay. I mean, all I have to look for is a John Hunter Nemechek spin from 2020 to probably find a rear angle. He did spin a lot. He did, but the thing is, I think he only ran this car like 3 times, and one of them was Daytona. I know it was Daytona, New Hampshire, and Michigan? Texas. Texas was the other one. He ran it at Texas, New Hampshire. I think later in the year he did run it again. He ran a throwback of it. And then he ran it at the Roval. Actually, he probably spun out at the Roval. That would be the race to watch right there. Would be the Roval. So he ran it 4 times. But I'm pretty sure that CitGard logo would have been on the rear if it was only Rick Ware doing not doing that. If it was only Rick Ware leaving the GT logo there. Back to logos, NASCAR stuff. Do I have a Speedy Cache? I do have a Speedy Cache, and it is a PNG. So we're going to put that in the bottom of the rear windows. And again, like I said earlier, I'm really not... I know the more detail, the better. I'm really not worried about things like the B-pillar logos or even some of the C-post stuff. This being right next to the window, I'll put it here, and I'll probably slap a CitGard logo up at the top of there too. But this isn't really much. This isn't anything I really pay that much attention to, because if I'm being honest, like, yes, it's accurate, but who's looking at the C-posts? Like I know, like, if you're developing skins and stuff, I know we're looking at them, but like, I don't think the casual player is really looking at that. And if you have the 95% ballpark, and you at least have the core design spot on or close to it, I think that's good enough for what we're doing here. That's just my personal opinion. If you want to go the extra distance and make it, 100% detail, get all the logos and all the right spots, kind of like how the Gen 7 project went when we were making schemes for that. Hey, knock yourself out. I got no qualms for that. I actually got more respect for that than the way I do it here. I know you do. 100% know you do that. But like that's why I have the respect I do for you. Like, you go that extra mile for that extra detail. I can't hate on that. Nothing but respect for that. I think the majority of people aren't really looking at that, though. You pay attention to it. Put specifically Texas's associate sponsors on the correct spot. I'm actually going off the Daytona spot. I am paying that much attention. I am going off of the Daytona placements for the sponsors. So there's not going to be one there. I'll put the Essentia one there. And then I'm going to work on this here. I have no idea what this logo is. Or logos. And it seems to change by race, because here they have a different one at the Roval than they do here at New Hampshire than they have here at Daytona. So I'm just not going to put it there. It changed every race, and I don't think most of the other cars had one there. I know most of them I haven't put one on there because there just hasn't been anything there. But I have no clue what that logo is, to be quite frank. The Speedy Cash logo is replaced. Let's go ahead and put that down here. CitGard being the primary, I'm going to put that just under the front row logo here, just to find it easier if I need to go back to look for anything. I haven't checked how that looks yet. Where are my rookie stripes at? I've said rookie stripes like 8 times and then not done it. So before I forget it for like the 17th time, let's just do it now. Rookie stripes down, and they're going to be just under the 38 because the 38 has a sit on them. Makes sense to me. DDS, we're going to render this real quick. Something to do for... Oh, you know what? You know what? That would make sense if it had something to do with Trump being there for the 500. Did Kurt Busch have any? I just picked a random one. But let's see. Was there something there for it? This is for the Clash. This is for the 5. Yeah, see, he didn't have one. And like, if we go to let's go to Roush. Let's go to Chris Buescher's Roush car. Let's look. Nothing there for 500 qualifying or at Vegas. It might have had something to do with it. Maybe Front Row did something special for the 500, or maybe they had like a special passing in the team or something like that. I know sometimes, like when the crews have somebody on the team who passes away, they'll put a special logo to go with it. Hey, look, McDowell ran that one for a few races actually, and then after they came back from the COVID break, it was gone. Yeah, I can pull up specific race. You know what? I should have just pulled up the 500 weekend for that. But like, you can see that McDowell had it and Nemechek had it, but Kurt Busch and Chris Buescher didn't have it. So I'm going to assume it might have something to do with Trump being there. I'm kind of 50-50 on if it was just a special Front Row thing or if it was a special 500 thing that some teams did. I might pull up the 500 weekend and actually take a look at that. How many of them had it? So Quinn Half didn't. No. Come on. You can load. You can do it. Nope, not there. Not there. Not there. Not there. There. Yeah, I don't. I think it was the Furniture Row thing. Is that what those logos are? Rohig and American? Hang on here. Oh, you know what? That looks like a Front Row Motorsports logo. If you look right here and you look right here, I can't zoom in any closer than this, but that kind of looks like a Front Row logo. But no, I don't think it's those two. Looking at it back and forth, I don't see one here. By the way, this was Kaulig's first Cup start. If you didn't know that, they only ran the 500 in 2020, but that was Kaulig's first Cup start. But it wasn't on their car. It wasn't on Buescher or Busch or Truex or Bell or DiBenedetto or Logano or Byron. Or I'm gonna take a wild guess. Say this is just a Front Row thing. See, like this was a Rick Ware car in collaboration with Front Row, and they didn't have it on that one. Yeah, probably something to do with Bob Jenkins. That's gonna be my assumption going forward. I'll look it up, see if I can't find it later, but I'll make that a last minute ad if I can find that. So for now, that's not gonna be there. I might update that later to put that there if I can find it, but I have no idea what that's supposed to say. Do I have I don't think I have an Essentia logo, so let's just look one up. Oh, this will work. Or actually, is it the round black or is it the rectangle black? You know, I can't tell from there. So let's see if we can't find the rectangle black. If not, I'll just edit this. Essentia. I'm actually gonna edit this here. So we're just gonna do this way. At 45 tolerance to try and keep our edges somewhat clean. And again, I'm not the biggest fan of paint bucketing everything, but it's not going to be a very big logo when it's on there. And this might not be a very good excuse to everybody, but if it's not a very big logo and nobody's going to really be looking at that spot in the car the whole time, I don't see the entirety of just throwing it together just to have it there. It's not like it's going to be very big. Even if it was a high res logo, I don't think it would have been very noticeable either there. So we're just going to draw our copyright logo. We're going to embolden that. This one can go up here. Like, what was it, up here? Yeah, right there, I think was about right. And this one was smaller down here. Not much, but some, I guess a good little bit like that. It's about right there. It's about right next to it. Shrink that a little further, I guess, and boom, right there. And that top one's got to come down as well, because it was more like right there. Yeah, that looks better. All right, perfect. And this bottom layer, we can just slap a coat of black on. Perfect. You can still see some loose edges there, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that twice, actually. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're gonna go down to logos, NASCAR stuff, Essentia, solid. White on black, white text on black background. Let's go ahead and load it. I did have an Essentia logo. Every time I've looked for logo to see if I had it, I didn't have it. The only people annoys is, literally people like us, and even me. I'm just not even 100% on all of them. To an extent, I am a perfectionist, but when I say I'm a perfectionist, I mean like the main core of it. If you don't have the special logo that didn't run one race, or that only ran one race, and you decided not to put it on there, it's not the end of the world to me, but I will notice that. But it's just one of those things I'll just kind of shrug my shoulders to and be like, oh well, they could have just completely butchered the design instead. That's just my take on it, but I know where you're coming from when you say like you notice it and it annoys you, because like some of that stuff definitely annoys me too when I see it. and like when you get the wrong rendering shades and it doesn't quite work, it's kind of like self washes itself out. I don't really know the right word for that, but you know what I'm talking about, where it just flattens. It's not flattens itself, but where the blue looks like a light blue and the green looks like a light green, almost white, etc. Let's go ahead and flip this over. We're going to push that down more towards the edge too. There we go. Kind of like that. Boom, that's our essential logos. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we're going to go back on that. I don't know how I got the whole way through there without not even realizing that I still had the layer flat. I think that's the first time I've done that tonight. Usually by now I've done that like 4 times, so I guess I can't really complain. Could have been worse. We could have just finished the scheme that way instead of noticing it after one logo. We had finished the scheme that way on accident. You might have watched me live just throw my laptop across the room or something. Slide that back up. I mean, we already placed these once. We already know where they're going. Got a pretty good idea where and how they should look. At least a good rough idea. Like that. Did that one stick out a little bit? Whoops. I want to go left. There we go. There we go. Perfect. So now the essential logos. I don't know. I didn't need to rotate that. Now the essential logos can go down. Next up, I can just throw the hood logo or the deck lid logo up there. So we're going to copy. Let's go with the hood logo. It's slightly larger. Should be in the best shape to do that. We're going to do it like this. I didn't mean to deselect there. Thank you. I was trying to click the slider. I guess I can't complain too much about Paint.net being goofy. If I really wanted something to be perfect, I can always get Photoshop. I mean, I can, bro, but if I wanted something better, that would be the route to go, or GIMP. But I've never really been able to figure out how GIMP works either. That one's always just been a little weird to me. Okay, we're gonna put that CitGard logo right there like that. You found the logo next to the Cup Series logo. It's a white box with a front row motorsports logo on top and 2 front row associates underneath. Why front row felt the need to put associate sponsors there, I have no clue, but every race after Daytona till COVID, the associate sponsor changed every race, but the front logo. Well, what's the fucking point? What? So it's something different every race. But there's okay. Yeah, exactly. Like, what's the fucking point? All right. I might go back and look at that. I have no idea what associate logos those would be, but if it's something I have on my computer, I'll throw them on there. So there's the CitGard logos for on roof rail there. What about, do I have a John Hunter Nemechek logo? Johnny Morris signature. Nemechek. JH name rail. Okay. It's a weird name for that, but we'll go with it. I don't know why I filed it like that. JH name. Is that the same one? No, that's his Legacy Motor Club one. It's slightly different. Let me see if I can't find one. John Hunter Nemechek name rail. PNG. Oh, there it is again. Nope. I'm not gonna. Oh, it's in cursive right there, but it's not the version I'm looking for. What about 2020? 2020 name rail. Nope, not in. It's never posted in any of his cards. It looks like. Well, damn. Guess I'm gonna have to make one. It looks like it's a pretty basic font. It's got the same JH. It's got the same cross. It's got the same American flag. It shouldn't be too bad. I just have to find a text that looks right for in the middle. It looks pretty bad when I just bucket it like that. So let's go down to 30. Yeah, no, double bucket doesn't look very good. What about at 40? Because at 45, it still looked pretty... Okay, yeah, we'll take it at 40. 40 looks fine. Cross at 35 also looks fine. Let's find Nemechek centered. It's probably going to be in 15, slanted, and bold. It's going to be a solid. Is it Anton? Oh, that's actually pretty close. Hang on. Let me turn the boldness off on that. What was it, lowercase? It was lowercase. Hang on. Oh, I have my caps lock on. Nemechek. Oh, shit. That's red, actually, isn't it? Yeah, that's red. Oh, well, we'll just recolor it, I guess. Damn, I just kind of assumed the whole thing would be black. I really should have looked at that. Every time I have assumed something on this scheme, it has been the opposite, and you would think I've learned my lesson by now, but no. We're gonna... Because I would like to drag that H to be a little closer to the rest of the name rail like it is. I'm going to put it about right there. Yeah, because it looks to be sitting right up on the Nemechek. So we're going to just shrink that a little bit more. That should start right in front of the B rail. And should start about halfway up the door. So we're going to go about here. Short, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 sideways, 1 up, and then we're going to pull it back down 2. Those were all with arrow keys. I'm I'm going to render it. It's been a while since we rendered it, so let's go ahead and just take an overall look at the thing, especially that name rail. That name rail might need to be moved down again, maybe even shrunken a touch. That's not bad. The CitGard and Essential logo, that Essential logo looks pretty rough. Fucking yikes. I could probably bring it back down on the other side a little bit. Everything else looks pretty decent, though. The front rail logo up front looks good. 38 up front looks good. The CitGard on the hood looks good. The pillars look pretty good so far. How high up was Nemechek sitting on? Honestly, I might shrink the height in that, but where it sits up there is pretty close to spot on. So let's just, yeah, do that. 1, 2. We'll just shrink it by a bit and then pull it down 2 clicks of the arrow. But every week from Daytona, they changed under. Yeah, that's weird, man. I don't know why they did that, but if it was a Bob Jenkins related thing, I mean, I guess that makes sense, but it also still doesn't make sense. That's one of the weirder things I've seen. Like I saw that and I was just so confused what the hell it was even supposed to be, and then the only other car that it had it on was was McDowell's. I don't know. Maybe we'll wind up putting that on. That looks pretty. Okay, that's better. That's better. Let's go ahead and take a look how that looks in game. Here we go. That looks pretty good. Let's pull it. Let's pull it down a couple. Actually, go up 1 like that, and 2 down like that. Give it a little more of a curve, or let it curve with the rail a little better, I guess. I could probably just get away with putting a white box with a front row motorsports in it. Yeah, you know what? I probably could do that. I probably could get away with that. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that Nemechek rail there. Driver's side, I'm going to pull that down by a couple, I guess. And then after that, I'll just flatten them and drag it back down. No, I guess that only needed 2. Take another look at that. And then it's just associate sponsors at the front, really. Oh, I think we have a hood. Not a hood. I think we have a roof logo to do, too. I think I forgot to do that. Yeah. Yep. That's okay, though. It's going to be the side logo up there. So, not the end of the world. Actually, no, we'll just take that one off the rear right there. We can just copy and drag that right down. Where's that GT logo? I know it's in here somewhere. CitGard rear all the way down. Put you right above. Right here into roof. We're going to rotate you 90 degrees sideways. Okay, this is not going to work. Too small. I don't want to grow that out and just make it look even worse. Because I was going to have to do some modifying to that to even make it work. This one, I might be able to use. It's the door logo, but I do have them slanted sideways on the doors. So getting a good grasp on how big or small this logo actually is or isn't, it's going to be a hard timer being able to tell if it's straight or not. That's going to be the big problem. So we're just going to have to play this by eye and hopefully figure it out sooner than later. Nope, not straight. We're going to have to 1, 2, 3, maybe 3. Oh, no shit. That's close to perfect. Holy shit. All right. Perfect. I mean, not quite, but it ain't off by much. 2. So is it just 1 it was off by then? That's pretty good. So let's see. We're going to drag that back here. It's supposed to be just a touch, just a little bit wide. It's supposed to go window to window. Okay. We're going to do this then. There's that. And I just saw you commented. Give me 1 second. You can probably wait. You found it. You're DMing me. You found a high quality close up of it. It's weird and completely unnecessary, but at least okay. You know what? I'm gonna pull that up from my phone. Take a look at that. Cause I'm watching the stream on my phone too. Oh, leaving speed to the what on earth? That's the logo, huh? All right. Well, we know what it is now. It's a tribute to a crew member. Okay. All right, that makes sense. That's kind of like the Bob Jenkins theory. That makes sense. Can't argue or really hate on that one. See if we can't just clean up the inner edges of this just a little bit. Nope, we're not going to do that. That actually made it look worse. It's fine as is. Okay, we'll go with it. So, CitGard on the roof. Name rail. Oh yeah, all the contingencies up here and the front end. All right. So we're narrowing towards the end of this. I really do feel like it's always the logo placements that take me forever here. K&N. K&N logo black. There we go. That's the one I want. Oh, I got the slasher moves out of them. Oh. And we've worked on harder logos today. That should be too bad, I guess. So, boom. That. Oh, we missed a little chunk of that right there. Boom. How much top or bottom? Not much top or bottom. Okay. I guess make it about that thin, if that's how thin the old one was. Probably gonna make it wider on my own, but we'll just go with the parameters of how it already looks. For now, anyways. Did they? Yeah, they did trace that out, didn't they? Okay. Oh, shoot. How do I want to do this? We're going to do this in red. See if we can't trace it outward. It doesn't look like it's very close. I think they just kind of loop it like this is how it looks. So we're gonna just keep following the edges. Probably gonna have to put in a little bit of a white curve at this end to make that work, but yeah, that looks about right. So don't need that or that. We're gonna get rid of both. So boom. All right. And then boom again. And with the bucket tool, we're gonna clean it up like that. Now we're gonna duplicate this because I want to outline it. And I'm going to paint this white. And I see up here it did the flat edge thing. I saw that. We're gonna clean this up a little bit. At least get the edges mostly lined up here. Corner to corner, flat to flat, flat to flat, flat to flat, flat to flat. Perfect. There we go. We can just draw that back in a little bit. And right here, we might even be able to get away with just paint. But we might be able to get away with this, actually. Hang on. No, not at all. Worth an effort, I guess, but not at all gonna work. Let's do this. That works. Okay, I can live with that. So we had to do some logo editing. Fortunately, front row, that's where their sticker was for their tribute. Post-COVID race, front row moved the sticker from there to above the door and B pillar. Okay. Okay. Junior. Oh, that's a sticker for Junior Bolin, who was a pit crew member who died in 2019 in a car accident. Oh, okay. All right. Has a warning not to speed as well. Unfortunately, okay, I read that part. And after Darlington 2020, there's a circle with the letter JB. But I did see that. I wasn't sure what that was either. Okay. Yeah, because that's, where is it? This right here. Yeah, I'd seen that earlier and I had no idea what that was. Okay. So that answers that then. Oh, shit. There we go. Small, it's a tiny, tiny logo. Okay. Were the Cup Series logos for? Yeah, they were moved forward. Okay, hang on. Before I can actually get a placement on that, looks like the front of the Cup Series logo is in front of the vent there. So K&N logo lines up pretty straight with the right side of the NASCAR Cup Series logo. Down here and under the vent, it's about as tall as the body panel right here, like that. Okay, so that's gonna go there like that. That's why if you look at the schemes post-COVID lockdown, you see a JB. That's because they had to move it, mandated. I got you. Okay, that definitely makes more sense. I was pretty confused as to what it was even supposed to be at first, or where it came from, or I assumed it was a Bob Jenkins thing too. I did, because I wasn't that around the time. Well, I mean, I thought they did something special for Bob Jenkins logo wise on their cars at one point, but I could very well be misremembering. How long is this stream been going on? We've been going for 3 hours. Holy. Okay. Wow. So we gotta be close to done, right? Okay. We're gonna put that up here above the 38. The K&N logo gets rotated over. That's actually damn near the perfect spot. Right there is where it's gonna go. Front row does a lot of weird stuff that nobody knows. Sure, they're paying on this. Yeah, no, on the regular. Hey, on the bright side, this is not as bad as when I did the Hale Mellon car for the Gen 7. I think I was on that one for 12 hours or more, just on the gradients alone. Sheesh. I had a day drink after that one. That was a bad one. I was up all night, and I don't think I finished that one until probably about 11 o'clock the next morning. That was a fun one. Where's the NASCAR Cup Series logo? It's up here somewhere. Here it is. So this is gotta go forward just a hair ahead like that. Perfect. And yep, all right. We got the size on that pretty good. Sherwin-Williams is next to it. Yep. Sherwin-Williams. I think it's this one. Yep. Perfect. Whoops. Did not mean to drag it off screen like that. I'm going to shrink that pretty small. I think the longer I get into this stream and the more I think about doing one for like Christmas Eve, how this is probably going to be a pretty long endeavor if I do that. But I think that'd be a pretty neat idea. This would probably be a several hour stream. If this one is gone for 3 hours and probably has another 45 to go, I'm assuming about 45 minutes to go tops, because I still have to do the front end as well. Then that might be a rough idea. Well, it'd be difficult to get through, but I don't think it'd be like rough as in bad. I think it's doable. Just figure something else out, and then just making a paint scheme for that. How much of a gap did I leave between there? About 2 pixels. You need to start streaming. Dude, it's interesting. Like earlier, there was like 7 people in here. Like it was kind of fun. We were just all bullshitting in here, and I think for the last hour, it's just been me and you in here. No, actually, we're up to We were up to 3 for a moment. Now we're back to 2. So I think it is just the 2 of us again. But for a while, there was like 5, 6, 7 in here. But no, it's pretty fun. Like just chit-chatting with the community and just working. I mean, I'm definitely not paying as much attention as I usually am. Racing electronics, right? Racing electronics, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm definitely not paying the most attention to what I'm doing, but it's pretty fun. Painting does lure specific people, absolutely. I think L Dog and Dice were in here earlier, and a couple others. I think I don't remember. I think his name's Everyone or Eyelid or something like. I think it's Everyone. I think his name was Everyone. Hang on, Eyeless. Yeah, Eyeless was in here earlier, which I think he's Everyone by name in the BCS server, BSC server. God, I'm dyslexic. There were a couple more in here earlier too, but it's pretty fun. I think if I did a Christmas Eve stream, it'd be like spent partially painting something and then running script AI that I pre-recorded do group crashes. That was kind of the idea I had earlier. But when I was looking at this one, I was like, I could do this tonight for a stream. That'd be a pretty quick one. I started the stream at 8:00 or 8:10 or something like that. Not complaining. Just it's run a little longer than I expected. So that's the REO, the Racing Electronics logo in place. I'll put that there. Mac Tools, red with white text and a white border. Perfect. So I can just throw my own border on this. That's fine. Whoops. Effect, stylize, outline. I'm going to have to recolor that, but whatever. In like that. Ooh. And across the bottom. Okay. You know what? I'm going to have to move this whole thing out over here so I can get those edges kind of straight. Because that's pretty rough looking like that. I'm not even going to lie. Here we go. I'm going to duplicate this. Do that. And we're also going to do this. See if we can't clean this up a little bit. Actually, we're probably going to have to make this really small and do it from the top version. Yep, there we go. There we go. All right. No, that fixed that one. Okay. Kind of like this. Bring it down. We're going to shrink it again. Was this in the vent? No, they were a little more right to the vent. Maybe. I don't know how much smaller I can make these while still keeping them like where they should be, right? Well, it's like that barely even breaches that. Oh. Maybe they were slid further back. I don't know. Or a little less wide. I don't know. We're just going to run with it. Like, the Mac Tool logo here and just slide everything back, I guess. So we're going to have to go over this portion, unfortunately. Oh, that's a certified paint moment right there if I've ever seen one. Never flipped the whole image over before while zoomed in a spot, but I'll probably find a way to do it again. Let's see here. We're going to go right here with that one. Nope. We're going to go down to the bottom with this. Racing Electronics U 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know why I'm swiping down there. I need to swipe down up here. Racing Electronics 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How much further out? Oh, it's almost to the door rivets. Like there. How close is Mac Tools to the... One. And I guess we're just going to slide this one back over again. I guess it's just going to have to vary by side. I don't really know the good answer to that one, but they should all be over and behind that Cup Series logo. Actually, I think that's our answer right there, shrinking the Racing Electronics logo. I think that's going to be our answer. Yep, it did duplicate. Layer 180. Where is it? All right, go to the top. Where are you at? Thank you. All right. Here we are. So, Racing Electronics, K and N are stacked on top of each other. Good. K and N's probably got to get shrunk then. So, we're going to shrink it a little further. It's the REO. Yeah, they were supposed to be smaller. All right. Kind of weird that they even bothered putting them on this small, but I wasn't a designer. It wasn't my call. Nor am I the sponsors. It might have just been a sponsor decision. Fuck if I know. Whoops. I'm going to spin that around. Probably somewhere up here again. Yep, right there. Bloop. Right there. And over. All right. It's a pretty good start. K&N logos, K&N logos. This Mac Tool logo is like right up on top of both of those posts. And the REO logo is right on top. You know what? Let's slide this Mac Tool back 1, 2. Because that's about how far that one is, right? Nope. 1. Just 1. The REO one can go out 1, 2, 3. Should be to the edge of those rivets. Or have a 3 pixel gap in the middle. Which that works for me. K&N logo should match the outer edge of the REO logo. Now that's good enough. I can't tell if it is or isn't, but and then the Sherwin-Williams logo. Well, first and foremost, will it even fit in there properly? I guess it would help if I was on the Sherwin-Williams logo. No, we're gonna have to shrink it. Boop. And just like that, we're gonna duplicate, rotate. Oh man. God, I could go for a nap. There's that. Perfect. That's the Sherwin-Williams logo on. I guess I just like all the random stuff GIMP provided. Like I found a random 3D lighting effect to cast shadows for a particular shape, but I get it. It's just a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff I'm never gonna use or really figure out how to. But the general controls of GIMP be like Chip Ganassi front row and premium, the kings of putting unnecessary small logos under the NASCAR context. Yeah, yeah. Essentially, I couldn't have put that any better myself. I don't understand why we're putting these down here. They're so small you can't even read them. Lincoln Welders is the last one, at least. Lincoln and Welders. I gotta go with this 01 because I know this one has the border. Nope. I'm just gonna sound like an idiot again. It was my blank one that's got the rim. I really need to go through and check some of these older files I downloaded by name because they're just some of the names I have for them are just confusing as hell. You think blank means blank, not with the border. And again, I can't blame anybody. I'm the one who organized this folder and named everything. Clean that up a little bit right there. Do it again over here too, just a touch. Just like that. All right, perfect. Actually, not really perfect. We're gonna try and remove that outer edge if we can. Okay, perfect. That worked. All right. And because we took the rough edge off of it, I'm gonna replace it at 40% tone. Tap it twice. Should give it a soft edge. At least a little bit of one. And that one can go here. How wide? From like the center of the tack. Oh, I don't even want to see your logos. I don't even want to see your logo folder. I can't imagine it's any better than this. Dude, there's probably 1,000 files in mine. It's ridiculous. And yeah, Chip Ganassi did love putting random associate sponsors underneath the the contingency sponsors and shit. I've never understood why they did that, but hey, if they felt like it and they was having fun, then whatever. And if the sponsor paid for it, then well, you gotta use your sponsor money somehow, I guess. We're gonna flip this over 180. There it is. I couldn't find it for a moment. We're gonna try and center that up a little bit. How close? Okay. That looks to be about the same. Whoops. Lincoln Welder goes up here. Lincoln Welder and I didn't mean to merge those together. So that's our front contingency group, I believe. Right? All 5 logos. Okay. And then there's just 3 more for the front. And then possibly that. But if I do that, I'm probably gonna do that at a later date, to be honest with you, because I gotta look around and see if I can't figure out what it's supposed to be. I may even just replace that with an all blank. No, wait, you send me what the logo is. I'll probably wind up just making it. Okay. So that said, I'm gonna do the front contingencies, and then we're gonna load this into Beam, and I'm gonna see if I can't just before I get off here, I'll find a way to do like a stupid crash or something with it. Is this as wide as both Sunoco logos? No, not quite. It's gonna go about a third of the way across both. So about is the keyword. We're gonna go like this. About a quarter actually. And it goes right to where that point sticks out, maybe just a touch higher. Bring this in by a couple. Okay, I can work with that. That looks good. Now I'm just going to hold this left arrow until it pops up, and I'm going to hit my vape a couple of times because it's been 3 hours without smoke, man. Tell me now, I folders to sort logos into teams. You got 4 of the same Monster Energy logo and 3 folders. The same valve. I can't tell you how many of those I have the same way. I probably have 4 versions of the Front Row Motorsports 38. Like, I shit you not. I'll try and pull it up right now. Look. That is a front row. That is a front row. That's a Penske I made. That's a front row. That's a front row in PSD from Big Evil Number. So yeah, I had 4 on the nose. But I mean, look how many ones I've got. 1 JRM, 2 JRM, 3 JRM, 4 JRM. Trackhouse, 2 Trackhouses in an alt version. That I think that's a Chip Ganassi. So 3, like, yeah, I have multiples of like, I know exactly what you mean by having multiples of everything. Doosan, Dorman, Dow. How many more of everything else do I have in here? Like, I could just keep going on and on. Multiple FedEx logos, multiple Ferris, 2 Ferris longs that are edited 3 months apart of one another. 4 of them. Yeah, 3 of them that are edited 3 months apart of each other. I could keep going on and on, but I know exactly what you mean by it doesn't make any sense. You could go get that same Monster logo from the 23XI folder, but you're working on the front row car. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I don't make separate folders like when I'm working on one scheme to the next. I have one great big folder. So if I go into, I have a flash drive plugged in, and it's just NASCAR stuff. It's literally just full. I don't know why there's a screenshot folder in here. February of 2025. What the hell could even be in here? Oh, okay. All right. These are screenshots from another pack I was working on months ago. All right. I'm just going to delete that then. But yeah, you see what I mean by like in my logos folder and stuff like that? Like, I literally have stuff that I don't even need, or duplicates, or I mean, look, I got 1, 2 MBM 13s and then 3 Germains. Same thing with Premium Motorsport and whatever JDM supposed to be. I'm pretty sure that's an Xfinity number. Same for the Colic. I have 5 Colic 16s, although one's a roof and one's an invert. Multiple. Look how many JGR 18s. Like I know exactly what you mean on that one. It's a hassle. It's kind of a pain in the ass to sort through them sometimes, but I know your pain and your struggle there, man. What else we got going on here? Got like 2 of every Kroger sponsor because JTD lost Kroger and moved to RFK, so now you have 2. Yep. I'm not working on an Xfinity pack. I made 2, and those were screenshots from February of this year that I deleted. That is not the current project I'm working on. The paint scheme I'm working on right now is this John Hunter Nemechek car from 2020. It's a CitGard Mustang from the 500. What logo am I trying to load up again? K&N with the white text. Okay. And I'm having an off night again. Oh well. This one? Yep. This is the logo I'm looking for. How big of a outer border did it have? Not a big one, but it is a full box, so I don't have to re-outline anything. That's nice. And pull this side in a little bit. Invert. Boom. And just like that, we are working on the K&N logo. God damn it. I meant to zoom in. We're going to zoom in. Fit that right there. How wide? It's a little wider than the 3M. Okay. So I'm going to put it to like a third, just under half, about third. So kind of like that. Make this look about normal height because Lincoln Welder goes up in here. How much of a gap is between K&N and 3M? Not much. We'll pull it up one more and pull it out one more, I guess. 2 more. Copy. And just like last time, we're going to sit here. I'm going to hold the arrow key down. It'll eventually pop up. Kyle Larson 2020 McDonald's scheme and Matt Kenseth. So 2020 is a weird year for that camp. And to be quite frank, I think I'm going to put both of them in skins in the pack. Kyle Larson ran 1 race in the McDonald's car and 3 in the Credit One scheme. So I'm probably going to be doing Kyle Larson in the Credit One car. However, Matt Kenseth also ran that scheme. It was a different orientation of the colors, but it was the same scheme. Like the white on the white base of Larson's car was black on Kenseth's. So I'm probably going to do one of each for Larson and Kenseth. The McDonald's scheme, kind of maybe. I've thought about doing it because that would be an easier one to do. If I did a McDonald's scheme as a secondary, it would probably be for Matt Kenseth since he ran 90% of the season in that car, though. If I'm being entirely honest, I'm going to try and put both drivers in. I don't know if Larson's getting secondaries because, I mean, he literally ran 4 races. And if I'm going to do extra skins for the 42 car, I think the driver who ran more races should get that secondary. Lincoln Welder. Wait, is that one with the border? No, it's not. Sweet. All right. Whoops. Oh, there's no copyright logo on that. Oh yeah, no, it's there. I see it. All right. Oh, that works. And it's going on a white base, so that little white soft edge outline is fine. Actually, how bright is that red on that? Yeah, I'll recolor it. Wrong color. There we go. Now we got the right color. Okay, let's go ahead and put that on now. So we're going to zoom in, slide it up and over. So it goes to the outer edge. It is just a hair wider. Whoops, wrong tab. It's just a hair wider than the K&N logo. So kind of like that. Yes. The red is short, the black is long. So let's, yeah, like that, and we'll pop one up. We'll just push it one up. That is almost to the headlight. Kyle Larson's Monza Madness scheme. I plead the fifth on that. We'll see. That sounds like a cool one. I wonder how that would actually look like on a stock car. You know what? Yeah, let's put the Monza Madness scheme in here. You've got me convinced. I'm down. Let's see. We got Lincoln. How did that look on the passenger side, I guess, is my next question. Well, unfortunately, I can't find an angle of the passenger side. Well, here we go. Oh, the render has these in a completely different orientation than from the 500. Like Lincoln Welder at the bottom, K&N middle, 3M top, but it's actually 3M bottom, then K&N, then Lincoln Welder up. I don't know. They're all over the damn place with their renders sometimes. Ooh, okay. What about this? Can I see? Okay. So they did basically the same thing where the red sticks out a hair and the black is under a short. So we're going to do it like this. Yeah, right there is good. And I think you guys might have to correct me if I'm wrong here. I think we're finished. Lincoln Welders, logos, CitGard, we moved that down. We got all of our logos here. So we got our associate sponsors up front on the front bumper, 3M, K&N, Lincoln Welder, the team logo, the 38, all of that's in the front. The Goodyear logos are blue. I replaced the whole logo. The CitGard logo's on the hood. We've got these in the front. I don't have this on there yet. That I might that'll, if I add it, it'll be after stream. We've got the Nemechek name rail. We've got the 38s on the doors and the roof, the CitGard on the roof, the CitGard here, the Essentia here. CitGard, heavy duty engine oil, Yanmar, Mystic. Okay, yeah, I think we got everything here. Sweet. Okay, I think we've got the 500 car practically done. If you think these contigs practically touching the headlights are bad, you should see what rookie of the year. You know, I've seen it. I have seen it, and I'm not going to make a comment on that. I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing. I mean, they're not touching the headlights. They use that space up. That's what that space is for. Use it up. Get as many sponsors as you can. Get that dollars in. But I'm actually more impressed, and I'm more impressed that they squeezed them in there without overlapping the lights. But it makes me wonder why they didn't just put them here. You know, like how they had for decades prior. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, all of those are there. I think the scheme is done. Yeah, I think we're done with the paint scheme. I'm gonna save this as a PSD because it's probably been 3 hours since I've done that. Because this stream is going on 4 hours old now. Where's the left rear quarter panel of Newman's car? That wait, what? What? Where's the left rear quarter panel of Newman's car? What do you mean? What? Rear quarter panel of Newman's car that hit Nemechek's car. Wait, did Nemechek actually hit Newman during that flip? I don't remember Nemechek even being involved in that. or being anywhere near the front for that. I know David Reagan was up there in the 36. I mean, he finished fourth. Nemechek crosses the line for the 500. He hit. Oh, okay. All right. I got you. Well, and what did that do to the quarter panel? It just kind of hung on there, I'm guessing, or just damaged it. Where's the left rear quarter panel? Newman's car that hit Nemechek's car. All right. I think I I actually don't I actually don't remember. Hold on. Let's figure this one out. If he got a top 10, I completely forgot about that. He finished 11th. Okay. Still not bad. Brendan Gaughan finished 7th. That's who I was thinking of. Oh, just dented the car. Okay, I was thinking you were talking about missing logo or something there. I was confused. But no, Brendan Gaughan got a P7 that race. I don't remember that. I remember Corey LaJoie in 8, for obvious reasons. But no, Nemechek in a top 15 spot and Justin Haley finishing 13th. I certainly don't remember that either. When I was looking through this list and I saw Colleague was in there, I was like, I don't remember them even racing in 20. Also, Brennan Poole got a 16th place for Premium Motorsports in the 500 that year. And he actually got a 15th on the summer race, too. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the skin itself is done. I'm going to resave the PSD because I don't remember if I just saved it or not. We're going to put it as a DDS file. Haley was the driver who turned Chase Elliott when they took. Yeah, you're right. He did turn Elliott at the white. Okay. I remember pretty much only the last lap of that race. And what was it, lap 13 when they had the big one? Or was that 20? No, that might have been 2021, actually. But yeah, okay, we're going to close out of that. We closed out of our browser for now. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done a render update in game. Holy cow. All right. Actually, these came out all right. The Rookie of the Year logo looks pretty bad. I'm not even going to lie. But that's just unfortunately how they looked. And I had to shrink that to fit that there because they were stacked on top of one another. But this looks pretty good. This looks really good. I'm pretty happy with this. So that's John Hunter Nemechek's number 38 Front Row Motorsports Citgo Mustang. I'm going to mark this on my list. John Hunter Nemechek is done. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's number 14. That's 14 of 48 done so far. And when I finish updating that Bell skin, it'll be 15 of 48. 14 of 48. So we're about 29% done. 29, 30%. 29.2. And before you ask, yes, I do have a checklist on my phone going over how many I have done, and then whenever I finish one, I mark the percentage of how far along it is complete or not. This scheme is going to feature for like a second in my next music video in the background of the Newman reenactment. Hey, man, tell you what, I have the Newman scheme. I got this one, and I still need to make the LaJoie car. So after I get the LaJoie car done, if you want all three and you need them for a video, I'll just send you the project file, what I got so far. But yeah, no, this is John Hunter Nemechek's number 38, the CitGard Mustang. It is, shit, I still gotta put a... Ignore the last name banner, hold on. Hold on. You didn't see that. Come on. Nemechek. And white, it's going to be like 10 tall, 9 tall. Brand chef, semi-light, condensed, and bold. Yep. Perfect. And 1, 2, 3. Okay. So it just needs to stick out by like 1 on either side and 1 top to bottom. Kind of like that. And that's okay, perfect. And I'll just slide you into the last name slot. All right. We're going to pretend that didn't just happen. Now we're done. Now we're done. I don't know when you're gonna make that, but hopefully you'll work on it. Was the rear banner? I believe so on the majority of them. Actually, his is supposed to say J.H. Nemechek. God, motherfucker. But yeah, no, on a lot of them it was. Let me see if I can actually find a good rear shot of Nemechek somewhere. Yeah, see right here, there, at least in the render here, it's italicized. If I can find a live photo of it, maybe that'll show it a little better. If it wasn't so fuzzy, we'd look at that one a little longer. Tell you what, make this easy on us. If you type spin, you'll find the back of his car somewhere. You know what? Maybe you won't find it anywhere. I guess John Hunter Nemechek did not spin out in 2020, like at all. Yeah, I think you guys have only been using stainless for 4 years. I've been using the brand shaft condensed. But the stainless, I think they just started using that in 21. So it was J H Nemechek. So whoops. Yeah, I probably should have looked closer the first time at that banner instead of just going, oh, it's Nemechek. But you would think with only one of them on the track at the moment, they wouldn't have anything special like that. I don't know what I was really thinking. Stainless is the official font of 2021 onwards. Names became non-italicized. Yeah, no, after 21, they weren't italicized. But in 2020, they still were. At least to the best of my knowledge. I know some cars didn't. Like I know BJ McLeod didn't. See what I mean? Like right there, Smith Lee's is straight up. It kind of looks like stainless steel. And if I pulled up this one right here, McLeod, this is the one that's in the pack. The McLeod the window is straight up. It's stainless. I did do that in the pack, by the way. I did make them the rear name for McLeod different from the rest of them. See, like I actually have that. But if we go up to James Davison, it's how it would have looked like on the Rick Ware car. See, at least it's italicized there, but I don't think they quite went. I guess it depends on what driver they had in it. I might have to go back and change that. Where is that Davidson car? I can't even find it now. Here it is. Summer Daytona. And yeah, I think it's the same font that McLeod had on his, so I gotta go back and update this. Can I do Brad Keselowski #2 in 2020 discount tire car? That is on the planned to-do list. Yes, I will be doing that one. But yeah, no, as for the rear window, they were Teslas back in 2020, at least for most of the teams. So we're gonna save the Photoshop file because I'm pretty sure we're done. And I'm gonna save it as a DDS. That way so it'll render in game. And yeah, you're right. John Nemechek did never announce a retirement. He just died, but he never retired. Or at least announced it. I probably should slide that banner over a little bit, actually. Just a touch. 1, 2, 3. Like that, maybe. Damn, there's 5 people in here. Guys, it's midnight. On a Tuesday. Like, some of us gotta work or go to school in the morning. What the hell are y'all doing here? No, I appreciate the support, guys. I do. I'm just being sarcastic. But yeah, this is finished. John Hunter Nemechek's #38 CitGard Ford Mustang from the 2020 season. This is the version that ran at the Daytona 500. And it is done. This is number 14 of 48 done for the pack. Oh, you're also painting at the moment. You got nothing better to do. Okay. You love trying to center right head. Yeah, I do too. It's about as much of a pain in the ass as it is fun. Just kind of depends on what you're doing. I think that is center, but the window beams are a little off center because, like, you look at the top of the roof. Like, it looks like there's about 2 inches left of the J and 2 inches left of the K. Or 2 inches right of the K. Sorry, you can't. There's nothing left of the K. That's just how it appears to me. So it looks like it's center, but I can't quite tell. So let's go ahead and just send this man to the hospital real quick and call it a night. Pause it here. We're gonna send this man maybe up to the moon or something. And there we go. All right, John, where are we going? I guess this is all we're doing. Okay, that was not as fun as I thought that was going to be honest with you. We'll just go knock down the backstretch wall or something real quick. All right, we got one more. And I'll get off after that. I got one more wreck in me. I'll get off after this. I don't know how we didn't wreck it off too there. I got really loose. All right. Instead of the hospital, we're sending this man to the moon. I guess we're going to get him a little closer before doing that. All right, goodbye, John. We headed to the liquor store. Alright, come back. Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry, John. May you rest in peace. Alright. I think that's going to be it here for me tonight, guys. Anyways, it's been 4 hours on here. I don't know how long any of y'all have been here for, or at least by name. But I do appreciate the support, whether it's with the S-Monger Cup series or the Retro Cup series that's coming soon, or if it's just with skin packs for the game, or if it's just getting on here to mess around. I do greatly appreciate the support. It is pretty much the reason I keep going on about this. 2020 what Comscope? What do you? Oh, I think I know what scheme you're talking about. And no, I'm probably not doing that. I'm gonna double check, see if what scheme I'm thinking it is. If it's the pink and purple one, yeah, this one. Yeah, I'm not making that one. No. But yeah, not that one. I've thought about maybe doing the Aries scheme, but at the same time, I'm not doing any of the other throwback cars. But it's weird to call this a throwback car, considering that this was running in 20. He was still in the 18 and 18, right? Or the 19 and 18. He was still in the 19 car in 18. So like this is a 2-year-old scheme. I don't know. I don't know why they were calling that a throwback, or I don't know if they even did call it a throwback. If they just slapped it on at the throwback race and called it. But no, Daniel Suarez, the scheme I'm planning on doing for Suarez is his Toyota scheme. This, I believe, ran 22 races in the season. I think 22 or 24, something like that. And then he had the blue version of that, which ran another 4. And then there was this, I think he ran 2 races with Coca-Cola. Yeah, it was Edwards' scheme. It wasn't even Suarez's own scheme, but he still ran it for like the first 2 years of his career. And then he took it to Stuart Haas. It wasn't the same paint scheme. I mean, you can't just slap a Toyota scheme on a Mustang, but like it wasn't. He took the sponsorship with him, and they had a pretty similar scheme in 19 as well. But yeah, no, Suarez drove the 19 and 18, and it was that paint scheme. So I don't know. They took Edwards' paint scheme from 2015 and called it a throwback, I guess. I mean, I guess that checks out. But all right, guys, I'm finna hop off from here. It's been a long night. I gotta work at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, hey, you guys have a good rest of your night. I appreciate all your support once again.